so you better not miss. And we only get stronger with everything I carry up on my back. You should paint it up with a target. Why would you dare me to do it again? Come get your spoiler, but we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, look at you calling my name. You ought to know by now that we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, maybe you wonder what your future's gonna be, but I got it all locked up. Take a lap now, don't be mad now. Run it back, run it back. I got bodies lining up, think you're dreaming of greatness. Send you back home, let you wake up. Why would you dare me to do it again? Come and get your spoiler out the head. We're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, look at you calling my name. You ought to know by now that we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, maybe you wonder what your future's gonna be, but I got it all locked up.
Caitlyn, not the greatest wave clear champion. However, Talia, if she's allowed to walk far enough forward, will be able to get W's off. But Cyanide has been very good with his charms so far. Double knock up. The electrocute procced on the Ari might. Oh, ultimate cancel. Oh no. They're simping for the Caitlyn like they should be. Everything is going according to plan, but there's just too much damage from the side of ATS. The Morgana ultimate's going to come out. A lot of people are getting on a sliver HP. Urgot is up. He lands the Urgot ultimate and gets the set from long range. Down. Morgana walking forward has the Zanyas. The Arnold's been only hitting one person, unfortunately, and also only knocking down one person. Morgana is going to die. The Caitlyn ultimate's going to get cancelled. Scrambles flashes forward, getting a two-man fear on the set on the Amumu. The old Mumu doesn't have ultimate right now. He's almost up, however. The set ultimate comes into the backline and gets a huge W into the backline. It's just the Lulu, it's just the Talia. They're gonna be able to kite it out, possibly. The Ruptured Earth is not enough, and it's a very, very close back and forth team. It looks like it's a 2-0. The Talia just not enough damage. The Caitlyn just not enough damage. The Ezreal 6-0. The Ari 9-1. The Morgana 2-1. The Set's 10-4. And that is ATS taking the series 2-2-0.
Turns out, Seal, I'm like a boomerang. You cannot throw me away. I'm TTU Phoenix. I'm here to cast a semifinals Noxus match between Apes Together Strong and Owlbear Express. So our two teams, are going to be for Apes Together Strong, Blaney, Randomonium, Cyanite, Slavagoon, and ABCDE. Owlbear has Wookiee Warrior, Soul Reaver, and Omagoo, and they do have subs in for mid and jungle. Mid and support. Gelati, from Hanging with Friends, is going to be subbing in for mid, and Mean Muggin will be subbing in support. And Gruer is my co-caster.
Yeah, it should be a great match. I'm looking forward to seeing what these two teams can do, fighting for a spot in the finals. It's kind of what all of it comes down to. It'll be interesting to see how Owlbear adjusts with having two substitutes, because that obviously changes how you have to draft, what kind of team comps you can run. Be interesting to see if they're missing their shot caller, if they look out of sorts, or if they're just going to be, maybe they're on the same page.
One thing I noticed when both when I've played with supports and when other team plays with supports, not supports, subs, you often want to kind of prio pick the subs champion, because if you don't know their champ pool as well, and they don't necessarily have anything prepared coming in for like what they want to play, you often prioritize comfort. Pick ban has already started. Bans are coming out real fast. Fiora, Karthus, Orianna for Apes Together Strong. 2 of those targeted at Gelati on the mid lane, and then Akali Morgana sending the instant Darius lock from Apes Together Strong.
Yeah, they're going fast. The instant Darius lock obviously means it's probably a pretty good comfort pick, as well as they're kind of daring you to pick something into it. He might just feel he can beat you on anything.
Yeah, Darius, like even champions that have favorable matchup against Darius, it's always hard because if you ever mess up, Darius wins. He's just such a straightforward champion, and he has so much in the way of base damages and base stats that like in a slap fight against any of their top laner, Darius almost always wins.
Yeah, and they lock in
Maybe like a Trundle.
lock in Sin and Nautilus on the other side. I think that's a really good lane. Answered back by Zillion Caitlyn. The Zillion could be a flex pick, but I do actually think that's a pretty good bottom lane in its own right. But
It is, though. I do worry about the Zillion early into a Nautilus.
yeah,
Because, like, obviously, Zillion doesn't peel very well early, vulnerable to getting hooked, and Senna tends to favor. Senna tends to struggle against like hard engage supports that get up in her face, and Zillion's not really that. Nar's a good counter pick though to the Darius, and I like taking it in third spot here, so that it can't get banned out, and you now can save bans for presumably jungle, and you have to guess if it's either going to be mid or support Zillion.
yeah, I think it's intelligent to grab your top laner when you already know what you're into. But yeah, no junglers have been locked in yet. And there's 4 available bans. It'll be interesting to see what they go to after the pool probably gets pinched.
So they're banning the LeBlanc. It's not a bad matchup into Zillion, but that suggests to me that it is probably a support Zillion, because they're trying to further constrain the mid pick, and since Owlbear Express is going to have the counter pick, which I think given that you've already picked top, it makes sense to save that for mid. You want to try to engineer the best matchup you can for your mid laner. And Owlbear Express goes with the Amumu and Jarvan bands, which I think makes sense because Apes Together Strong needs some engage. Both of those are solid tank engage junglers, and they haven't picked jungle yet. So guaranteed bands that are going to be useful.
Right. I'll be interested to see what Gelati actually pivots to, drawing 4 bans against himself. Because I do think when you draft Senna, you do like to have some high damage coming out of the mid lane. Senna does a lot of damage in her own right, but not as much consistent DPS as maybe a traditional attack damage carry.
Yeah, the Volibear and the Gnar are going to bring some pretty reliable physical damage to help back her up, though, which is good. They are going to need like some really strong magic damage out of the mid. What would I pick here? Because a lot, Syndra potentially might be a decent pick here.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be a bad pick, especially if he's comfortable on it. I don't know. Is anytime you have a character that's designed around nuking one person though, and then you have a Zillion to R that one person, it can get a little challenging.
So I think that is a Diana pick.
No, it's actually a Zac pick for the
It's
Diana.
a Zac pick. Okay, so it timed out for them.
Yeah.
So that's the jungle, and now they're trying to buy time. Zac, I like the Zac pick here. Vulnerable to getting pressured by the Volibear early. Oh, so it will be a Zillion mid.
Zillion mid.
Okay. But Zac brings some much needed hard engage to this team.
Yeah, I actually really like the Zillion mid pick. You have the Caitlyn Braum, so definitely a little bit stronger of an early lane. But come mid game, when Zillion starts speeding up the Darius, that's going to be a very strong combination.
For sure.
Yeah.
They could have gone an Ivern jungle. Ivern's excellent at enabling theirs, but they respond with the Azir, which I think is a good pick. Like really hard mid lane carry, probably not going to be threatened that much by Zillion. Azir is really good into mages that like don't significantly outrange him. Things like Xerath are really hard, but mages that have to be in his range and don't have tremendous wave clear, he can fight them pretty well, and he can scale very well.
Yeah, certainly. I actually think the Azir pick's really, really intelligent here. You know, you kind of wanting to look to team fight when you have the Senna, when you have the Gnar, the Volibear. Azir's one of the premier team fighting mages. You're not going to get punished by a Zillion early game. I really think that's perfect for them.
So it's tricky to pull off, but you can gnarl people into the Azir wall.
I have not seen that before, but I hope we get to see it. That'd be pretty hype.
In a previous season, my team attempted to do a Kiana Talia combo because the Kiana ult will spread along the Talia wall, but we didn't. We hadn't had enough time to practice it, and it didn't always work out right.
Yeah, that would definitely be a high execution combination there. I think overall, though, the draft's pretty even, though. I think both teams are going to have a pretty nice team fight. There's quality scaling on both sides. I mean, the early game's definitely tilted in the favor of Ape Strong with the Caitlyn and the Darius. So it'll be interesting to see how they can leverage, the pushing power of the Caitlyn early, and probably the. I'm not actually sure. How would you say the top lane should be going in the first, like, maybe pre-level 6?
Gnar is generally a good pick into Darius. In mini form, Gnar excels against most melee top laners, particularly ones that are not very immobile. I expect Blaney will probably have to take Ghost. It's very common on Darius, but you'll sometimes see teleport. But like without Ghost, he doesn't really have the ability to get to the Gnar. And Gnar's received a number of steady buffs to Megaform. So Megaform is actually it was always good, but now it's really strong because the ult cooldown is so low that like with maximum ult CDR, so like 45% CDR and 4 Cloud Drags, he can ult twice in one Megaform. But basically, he functionally has it up every time he goes Mega.
Yeah. And looking at Blaney's recent match history, 3 very, very good Darius games. That's why it doesn't surprise me that they just went for the first pick. He'll definitely be trying to replicate his solo queue performance into here. But if he can perform like I'm seeing 15-5, 12-4, 15-3, they should be off to a pretty good start.
I think Zach should focus the top lane, probably because like Caitlyn and Braum, like Caitlyn's just such a strong laner, and Braum will be able to sort of neutralize Nautilus's engage. Like you don't really need to help them out. They'll probably have some pressure or at least be fine anyways. And like Zillion's just gonna be
Right.
farming. He's not a lane dominator, but like you can really turn the top lane. And so I think that's where Zach should look to be focusing, at least early on.
Yeah.
And I
You know,
think Reaver's gonna need to try to counter that.
Yeah, I think Reaver will probably recognize that, and I think Volibear and Gnar I think have a pretty good chance to win that 2v2 early if they're in the right spot and in the right time, and Volibear can land all of his critical abilities. But there are gank opportunities as well for the bot lane. Whenever you have Nautilus, there's always opportunities there. So it'll be interesting to see where Reaver tries to go this game, especially with Azir having the push early. He'll kind of have free roam to the rivers. So it would be really interesting to track the junglers early on.
I do think the scaling is in favor of not Owlbear Express in this game. Like Azir is a super strong late game, particularly like once he gets on like 3 items. Mage. I'm curious to see what build Gelati goes. Sometimes you'll see Nashers into like Morello or Leandries, which gives you an earlier spike. I like Ludens into Nashers, which takes a long time to come online, but is like super strong once you get to 2 items. So it may depend on how much early damage he thinks he needs, or if he wants to scale.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. The scaling definitely slightly leans towards Owlbear. I think come later game, once Senna starts stacking up all of her stacks, once her range gets increased, it'll be hard for them to really touch her, as well as Azir being such a high range carry. That's going to kind of come down to, I think, is the Caitlyn a threat? I think if for some reason, which she should be, but if for some reason the Caitlyn was shut down early or didn't get off to a great start, I think they would struggle to actually fight against Owlbear, because Zillion's so strong when you have carries that you can keep alive. But if there's no real threat to keep alive, then Zillion kind of falls off on his own.
Or if he's forced ult himself. Now, I know this isn't like the most important facet of the draft, but I do want to raise it because I think it bears mentioning. Azir's legs are like super jacked. Like he is really muscular. Like we're talking like Jean-Claude Van Damme level, like roundhouse kicks coming out of the man. And I feel like that's a strength of the champion that is
Yeah.
not really highlighted. Like how much he can just flex on people.
Yeah. You know, Zillion is quite old in his own right, so
Yeah, I mean Zillion, like I don't think he hits the gym. Owlbear also, big guy, definitely
yeah,
lifts.
yeah.
Braum lifts too, but I think like the sheer bench press capabilities on the side of Owlbear Express is probably better than Apes Together Strong. So they're gonna have to overcome like that gym deficit.
It depends if we're talking Mega Gnar or Mini Gnar compared to the Darius,
Mega
but
very strong. Is he going with the Gentleman Gnar skin, which is my favorite? Because I love the clock tower. I don't even play Gnar, but I do like the clock tower throw.
we're about to find out.
I think Snow Day Gnar is the most BM Gnar skin.
That would be my favorite, I would have to say. It is Gentleman Gnar.
It is. All right, so he did go Grasp, which is pretty strong on Gnar. You'll sometimes see Conquer or press the attack, but like easy farm, good sustain. Blaney did go the Ghost.
Yeah. I will say I'm a little surprised. Braum took Hail of Blades.
He watched the
Yeah.
Mon G2 game this morning.
Oh, I have not seen that yet. Can you explain to the viewers who maybe haven't watched that what the idea is?
Barrel, the support for Damwon Gaming in I think game 3 or game 4, I don't remember which, took Hail of Blades on Braum. And I'm gonna check to see he took the attack speed rune as well. Essentially the idea is that you stack the passive super fast. The massive amount of attack speed that it provides, if you hit the Q and then just walk up using the slow, I think it's 100%. The large amount of attack speed gives you it's 110% attack speed for 3 attacks. It basically guarantees Braum getting the stun off because he'll.
Well, I'm excited to see that in action. I will say that kind of surprises me then when going with such an aggressive rune choice, they didn't stick with like Ignite as well. Because I think if you're going for that really early aggression with that, the Ignite would have been a nice pairing.
So I don't think it's actually for aggression. I think it's counter aggression. So when Damwon played it, they played it into Pantheon. And so the issue it presents Pantheon is if Pantheon ever goes in, he gets insta stunned. If Nautilus ever hooks in, he'll be instantly stunned by the Hail of Blades Braum. And so he's not trying to be aggressive because like Braum is not that great at playing aggressive in lane. He burns through mana very quickly if he has to keep cycling rotations of his abilities. And he just doesn't have a good way to get onto a Glacial Senna. But it's designed to stop Mean Muggin from going in.
Yeah. Well, that'll be an interesting thing to track. Gnar actually snuck in and got a deep ward. So depending on where Zach moves from here, they'll have an idea of his early path.
So it is bot side starts for both junglers. Sometimes you'll want to choose your starting based on the damage types you have available because red and blue buff do have unusual resistances. Red has negative armor, blue has negative magic resist, but it's often just the default of start bot side because 2 people gives a better leash.
Right, and both junglers, as you kind of mentioned in the draft, will probably be pathing up towards that top side. I expect that's where we'll see our first bit of action.
Yep, starting itemization looks pretty standard. D-Blade out of the Gnar, D-Shield out of the Darius to counter some of the harass. Corrupting Potion on the Zillion, he's just looking to sustain in lane. And then the respective tank support items for both supports. So
yeah, Zach would have been spotted out on that ward, so they have an idea of where he is. Gnar's actually walking down towards the blue.
Just go Mega, and Randomonium's quite low. He might be able. He's certainly going to force him off the buff here. Yeah, so the buff's going to reset, which is actually kind of an issue for Zach because he's burned a fair amount of his health. Now, you do get increased healing when you're below 30% health from the Hunter's items, But Zach is a champion with a kind of rough early clear. He takes a lot of damage. He's vulnerable to getting invaded, and it's not very fast. So now Soul Reaver is pathing to the blue because they saw Randomonium walk back.
Darius is going in on the Gnar. He's got 5 stacks.
The Ghost is up. He's going to flash W, and that's the kill. Yeah, like, that's the power of Ghost Darius. If you ever get hooked and are too far in, he'll just pop the Ghost. Let me check. I assume, yes, he did take Nimbus Cloak and Celerity, so he is incredibly fast. Now, Soul Reaver's coming in. He's going to land the stun. The Sky Splitter does not hit. The Decimate misses. He didn't get the healing. Blaney only has time for one last auto before he falls down. The bleed is going to tick, but Soul Reaver's going to make it out with a few refillable potion charges, so he's going to answer the kill 1 for 1. It is first blood over to the side of, let me get straight, Apes Together Strong. But we have a small gold lead, about 300 in favor of Owlbear Express. And it looks like that's mostly, almost 200 in the mid lane because Gelati is just continually shoving Zillion in. And Soul Reaver's now going to take the blue. Zach is traded for the bot Scuttle.
Yeah.
He is full health. He's going to look to go in on the Azir here. Elastic Slingshot charging. It's off the target. He's going to use the shifting stance and get excellent distance with an EQ combo. So Gelati is out safely.
I like the call of Owlbear. You know, they knew that they bullied Zach off the blue. So even after the shenanigans in the top lane, they return and steal it from him. I mean, Zach is basically, he's half the CS of the Owlbear right now.
Yeah, Volibear is 700 gold ahead of the Zach. He's basically counteracting the 400 gold lead in top lane, which is pretty much just first blood. But Darius is setting up a pretty good freeze right now, which is going to be really awkward for Wookiee. He doesn't have flash, so he's just going to be forced to back. He's going to pick up a Ruby Crystal. I almost would have gone for a Cull here. Like, I don't usually build Cull on, like, anyone, but he's got no damage at this point. And given that he's behind, he probably just wants to try to farm it out, and a Cull would at least give him a little more sustain and a little extra gold there.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something he could have considered, but, sticking with probably the more standard, I would say. Both mid laners use their teleports as kind of expected. They're both trying to farm, but we shouldn't expect any TP's bot lane any quickly now. But
yeah, I take Barrier on Azir, but it's pretty common for him to take teleport because you're basically kind of like a Kassadin. You're not so much taking it to make plays as you are to maintain lane presence and farm as much as you can because your goal is to get your gold online and get itemization.
I think also, late game, Zillion will not be able to match the Azir into the side lane, so having the teleport allows him to potentially move to the side lane, call the Zillion over, and try to abuse that one-on-one.
Mm-hmm. So, despite being behind, Randomonium did get to the key milestone of Bambi Cinder. Being a tank jungler and not getting your Cinder on first back feels really terrible because it just makes such a huge difference to your jungle clear. So is he going to... Okay, he does detect the control ward. I really like that bush as a control ward spot because people don't check it very much. And it's a really good way to see who's crossing into the river. And it's one of those spots kind of like behind Wolf Camp or the bush across from Red Buff Pit where people don't check it or sweep it very much. And so wards can stay there for a really long time without being detected.
Soul Reaver's looking to start up the dragon. He will have been spotted out by the wards, but I don't know if Apes Together Strong are going to be able to do anything to stop it.
Yeah, Cyanite's low on mana. He's got ultimate, but not enough to use ult and combo. Slavic Goon and ABCDE are coming up, but now the Nautilus going in, Dredgeline's going to land. The fast stun's going to come out on Mean Muggin, but the Ignite's already down. Slavic Goon flashes the wall, but he gets exhausted. Now Omagu is in a bad spot. He's burned his flash. He's going to fall. The dragon does go down to the side of Owlbear Express, but they do lose their ADC for it. They had a really good pick on the Caitlyn, but just a bit too much greed from the Senna, and I think that might have been her first back. So I don't think she really had anything in the way of damage itemization to be able to finish off the Caitlyn, particularly with Slavagoon's heal coming out, which did manage to save him.
Yeah, I don't think either of them had backed yet, and he saw the low health bar, but the second he flashed in, the heal came through, and that's where you're kind of just sitting there like, oh, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
And he was rightfully punished for it.
So he does have the tier and the pickaxe, though. So he's got the damage. He did go for the pickaxe early, but he is going to be able to start stacking.
Yeah.
Cyanide's taking a
yeah.
bunch of damage. Shalati got his blue buff, so he gets to throw soldiers out forever.
Yeah, and the kill did go over to the Zac, so it's not like the Caitlyn's coming back with a giant gold lead or anything over the Senna. The CS
No.
discrepancy is big, but they're not out of the lane yet.
She's about 400 gold up, so with the pickaxe, she did go for the crit cloak. So not as much reliable damage as the pickaxe would provide, but it looks like she wanted a ward and pot. Reaver's just taking his blue buff. I think looking top is probably the sensible play here. Wookiee's about to go mega. But is he... Alright, Soul Reaver's pathing up. They're going to need to go in before Nar's Rage Bar goes down. They're going to land the slow. Flash stun. Sky Splitter's going to come down. Flash out of Blaney and the Ghost. They're going to go for the tower dive. They won't get the stun off the Mega Gnar. The Senna ult comes through. The Railgun takes out the
Senna
Darius.
says, thank you very much.
Hashtag all me.
Yeah, definitely. That feels good for her. She's actually in a lead over the Caitlyn now, so just that lane just got turned right back around.
Yeah, I think Wookiee probably could have thrown the Darius into the tower for the stun, but it was an excellent flash stun from Soul Reaver to set up the Sky Splitter slow. They forced both of Darius's summoners out very early, and with that down, Soul Reaver is like, I'm Owlbear, I turn off towers. So he figures he's just going to jump in and go for the kill, because I feel like I don't see enough people use the Owlbear ult for tower dives, which is kind of what it's designed for. A lot of times they just use it like as a gap closer or for, the health and unstoppable. All right, Nars just got mega again. He won't have access to the ultimate because it is still a 90-second cooldown. They're getting pinched. It's going to be a 3v3 in the river. Zac goes in with the elastic slingshot. Stretching strikes gets 2. Soul Reaver's quite low. The Emperor's Divide is going to buy some space. Soul Reaver's incredibly low from the bomb. Wookiee's now trying to run out with his bonus movement speed. Decimate's going to land. They're looking for the slow from Crippling Strike. That's 3 stacks. Blaine is going to go for the dunk a little early, but the bleed will take out the Wookiee Warrior. Zac actually successfully keeps the Rift Herald leash. He's going to be able to pick that up. So a little bit of an overreach from Owlbear Express. They get the gank in top lane, but then it's too long before they transition to the Rift Herald. And Zillion gets some good damage out with the bombs. Blaney's still a Darius. I don't think the Wookiee Warrior backed. And so they're going to look for top lane here, potentially with Rift Herald. No, they're going to back here. Darius has a lot of gold, has 600 gold, and more importantly, no mana.
Yeah, Soul Reaver, after getting the kill top lane, went for the blue buff steal because he had the timer down. But in doing that, just made the play last a little too long, which allowed them to collapse on the Rift Herald. And that was a great engage by Randomonium on the Zac, just locking everyone up and allowing Blaney to really pop off on the Darius.
Yeah, and with Soul Reaver's ultimate down, base Owlbear is not insanely tanky. He definitely needs some itemization, and the extra health that Stormbringer gives you definitely adds to his ability to frontline. And with that down, he didn't have the unstoppable, he didn't have the bonus health available, and even with the shield, he gets chunked out and is forced out of the fight. The pressure is now definitely in favor of the Caitlyn. She's got enough wave clear that they can just push it in. Yes, wave clear is not one of Senna's strong points, so they're going to be forced under tower somewhat.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see where Zac chooses to go with the Rift Herald. All 5 plates are up on all 3 turrets still. He could look to just funnel some gold into the Caitlyn. That's probably the best play, I would think, but...
Yeah, he's got it still, I would say, for about another 140 seconds, 150 maybe. It's a little hard to tell from the scoreboard, but he could either drop it. Zillion just hit his Rod of Ages, so that's going to be starting to stack up. I think they probably want to look to fight for this dragon. Even down on CS, Azir does not have his first item yet. And Caitlyn's still stronger than the Senna.
Yep.
Zac's just hovering here. He's waiting for them to try to go in.
Owlbear is on a ward. They know Owlbear is there. I'm sure Al has an idea that Zac is hanging around, but they're not for sure.
Yeah, and Gelati's pathing back to mid. He does have teleport available. Soul Reaver's actually in like an awkward spot because he can't walk up the river because of the they might be looking for a pick here. Zach cancels the elastic slingshot. With them pressured under tower, they're nice little blast cone. They are gonna lose that ward. But okay, so they do summon the Rift Herald bot. This should just be for plates. It's going to have significant resists, so they probably maybe get one more plate, but Flash, Depth Charge coming in, Stormbringer over the top, Stretching Strikes coming in, Zach slingshots his way in there, Mean Muggin is almost stunned up, Zach's ignited, they can't get the final stack for the concussive blows, a lot of damage coming out, but Soul Reaver is healthier. Omogu almost doesn't block. Wookiee Warrior is going to fall to Blaney in the top lane. Good use of the Ghost off the Darius. They're going to try to dissuade this dive here. ABCDE and Slavic Goon are both very low health, low mana. Randomonium has some sustain. They do not have the Chrono Shift available. There are no ultimates on the side of Apes Together Strong. Nothing on the side of Owlbear Express either, but they're looking for the re-engage. Omogu's got healing. Oh, they're going to catch Gelati here, but Zach's in the middle of nowhere. He's going to go into Cellular Division. Owlbear is going to get stunned up. He's going to flash out, but the bomb is going to take him out. Meanwhile, is forced to disengage. He's waiting for the shield cooldown. Gelati's getting the health out of Senna. She's actually back to about 75% HP. They're going to take up the Scuttle Crab, and I think that should be no dragon for either team with both junglers down.
Yeah, the Senna was huge there. Gelati got engaged on, was looking like he was going to go down, but the Senna Q, as well as I believe the Summoner Spell heal, just allowed Gelati to stay alive and pump out the DPS that allowed him to win that fight.
Yeah, they're going to go for the dragon here. Cyanide doesn't have great options to steal. Mean Muggin is kind of low, as is Gelati. They need Omogu to tank it, actually, because Gelati can't withstand that damage. He can't withstand firepower of that magnitude. Now,
Yeah.
Dragon's Leash, and they're going to have to back off. I think Cyanide has successfully stalled. Zax can come in here. They're going to force the flash out of Senna. Volibear is going in. He's going to get the stun. No one seems to have Smite. It goes to Gelati just with a Soldier auto. He's also going to take out the Zac. He's going to have to Shifting Sands away. Now they're on the Caitlyn. She's going to 90 caliber net out. Mean Muggin is looking for the auto, but he cancels it. They can't quite get it. Volibear is going to get it with the smash. There's the dredge line. Mean Muggin claims the kill. So it is a second dragon over to Owlbear Express. I don't know. Randomonium had Smite.
I don't think he did, unless he early smited and I missed it, but I don't think either jungler had Smite there at the end, and it just came down to a lucky Azir auto, but Wookiee Warrior actually gets revenge on Blaney in the top lane.
Yeah, it looks like, based on positioning, my guess is he got a pretty good ult off.
Yeah, he ulted him back into the turret.
That's where the damage came from, yeah. So he's going to get, with Demolish, he's going to get a pretty sizable chunk on this tower. And with no TP available for Blaney, this might actually be first tower going down if he can push in this wave very quickly. Yeah, so I saw the dragon hit 23 health at one point, and I'm pretty sure that Azir just had a soldier auto it for the kill. Gelati's now got his Nashor's Tooth available. He's got an Amp Tome, so I assume he is going for the earlier spiking build with a second damage item here. There's going to be a pick on Mean Muggin. He found himself trying to ward. The fast stun comes out. They're going to do the Caitlyn auto, but he manages to hook shield away, and the Senna ult gives him another shield. So that is one ultimate down for the side of Owlbear Express, but they do trade the Caitlyn ult for it.
Yep. And we do have an Ocean Rift, and because Gelati was able to secure that dragon, there are only 2 dragons off of Soul, which I believe, like an Ocean Soul on their comp, or really on any comp, is such a good win condition, but I think especially Apes together would struggle to kill.
Yeah. Also, I'm a little confused by the Executioner's calling on the Senna. Like, I don't think of Caitlyn or Braum as high healing champions.
Yep.
And, like, it doesn't work on Zillion ult because Zillion ult is not considered a heal. Oh, they're going to depth charge. We have a TP coming in from Wookiee. ABCDE, he's going to drop the Glacial Fissure. He is ignited with the slow. Yeah, easy pickup. Mean Muggin claims that with another ignite.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate for Wookiee. He wasn't even able to get an assist, but Darius is going in.
Oh, 2 kills. Very clean. Didn't even have the Zillion ult. I suspect he did have the Zillion speed up.
Definitely, it definitely looked like he did, and yeah, I mean, you were questioning the executioners, but when you have a 5-kill Darius at 18 minutes, someone's got to
That's
cut
true.
that
You do
healing,
need to shut the Darius down.
as well as the Zax's, passive healing. But I think you could argue it's a little bit of an early buy, but it will be needed at a certain point.
Yeah, I know that the Triforce is very standard, and obviously Blaney's pretty strong, so he can afford to do it. I do wonder if Cleaver might have been a good idea here, because, like, you have Zac, Gnar, and a full tank Owlbear. Like, this isn't even, like, Triforce. Like, he's doing the full tank build. Having that shred could be pretty handy, especially because, like, Zillion's not a tank killer.
No,
And
not at all.
Caitlyn went Storm Razor, which is going to give her a great early spike, but is not going to give her the scaling that the early Infinity, like, it's going to delay her scaling compared to, say, Infinity Edge. So, and particularly compared to Last Whisper. So, like, they don't have a tank killer yet
Yeah.
on the side of Apes Together
Oh.
Strong, and they might need one real fast. Azir teleports to bot lane. They're going to get the double last caress route. Good Emperor's Divide. Blaney dies in the middle of the Noxian Guillotine. I think the damage went off, but it wasn't enough to take out Gelati. Cyanite's going to have to run away using his speed, and with Dragon spawning in just, I can't actually tell how long.
40
about
seconds.
50 seconds.
Yeah.
They're pinging it.
45.
Like, this should be pretty easy. Pretty easy set. They're all backing, I would assume, for Ward.
Yeah, I like that call by Gelati to TP in, and the Senna ultimate plus the Emperor's Divide combo was a lot of damage that was hard to react to. Zillion barely wasn't able to get in range to ult either the Darius.
So, interestingly, the Senna itemization, so the mana immune's pretty standard, but you usually, I think, see, like, a lethality item next, and she did go lethality, but she went for Edge of Night, probably to stop the Zac engages. Like, I think she, Soul Reaver's in trouble here. He's going to be forced to flash out before the stun lands, so he won't have that tool. He does preserve Stormbringer.
Yeah, I
He's
think
gonna-
the Edge of Night's a good call, though. You have a lot of damage on your team, so it's not the maximum damage option, but as long as he's alive and healing Gelati, healing Wookiee Warrior, and still pumping out meaningful damage, I think it's a good call.
Also, the only thing that really can catch him here is the Zac engage, which is going to happen right now. Zac's charging Elastic Slingshot right into two of them. He's going to go into left bounce. He's going to fall into the passive now. Wookiee's trying to charge up, but he's stunned. The Darius resets are looking to come through. The huge Zillion Chrono Shift. He's going to come back with so much health. Gelati's now on 5 stacks, but he's actually going to get rooted up and separated by the Emperor's Divide. And so it's now 3-1 in favor of Owlbear Express. That is going to be an ace only for the loss of their frontliners, and this should be a third dragon to Owlbear Express.
Yeah, that's huge. They're one-off soul now, but the story of that fight to me was each top laner kind of attempting to just take out the backline on their own. Wookiee Warrior just completely denied the backline of Apes Together Strong from being able to really contribute meaningful damage to the other backline. The Darius was kind of he was doing his best, and the Zillion ultimate helped him out, but he wasn't able to actually reach the Azir or reach the Senna, and I think that's going to continue to be an issue.
Yeah, like the Shurima wall, the Emperor's Divide, is incredibly good at shutting down Darius because, if his flash is down, he have no way over it. And I actually thought Wookiee was going to die in the CC chain once he got stunned and hadn't gone Mega yet. But because he went for the Frozen Mallet first, he had so much health that he was able to survive and I assume get the Gnar ult out to keep the backline busy. And the first Darius ult was a kill, but I think the second didn't actually instantly kill the target, so he didn't get another reset.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It left them at like no health, and then they died to the bleed. Either Muggin or Soul Reaver, I don't know who, died to the bleed. Which meant that when he came out of the Zillion Chrono Shift, he didn't have the ability to just auto Gelati and immediately ult him. And he just got separated and picked off.
And it's so hard for him to even reach Gelati when you have Amagu like adding the Glacial Augment slow or hitting him with the W route. Like, it's very frustrating to play Darius when you're kind of on your own if he's not getting a Zillion speed up or he doesn't have his own flash or ghost.
I don't see a lot of Azirs do it anymore, but I really like relays on Azir because soldiers do apply the slow, and it just makes you so incredibly good at keeping people in the soldier autos because it's so hard for them to run out or to kite back from people once they get on you.
Yeah, I like Gelati's build though, going Nashor's Tooth into the Morellos. Be curious to see if he just goes for like a death cap third or what he actually thinks he needs, because right now he's just pumping out damage.
There's not a lot of MR on the enemy team, so I don't think he needs a Void Staff yet. So my assumption would be Death Cap, or maybe Leandries. Actually, I think Leandries would be extremely strong here. You've got 3 high HP frontliners on the enemy team, and because the soldiers apply the burn, it's very easy for him to just continually apply to everyone. He's also got 10 stacks on his Dark Seal,
Yeah,
so finish the Mage Eyes.
Yeah, the real Chad move is to go for the Mage Eyes right here. I wasn't gonna say it, but I mean, he's seemingly being able to remain untouched, and I mean, if he started stacking up a Magi's, that might just be game over in its own right.
Yeah, if they can't get to him, like, there's so much pressure on Randomonium here. He needs to hit both Omagu or Gelati with his Elastic Slingshot because he's really the only backline access that his team has. If he can't lock them up and get them in a position where his team can follow through with damage, there's a slow coming out. Flash grab out of Blaney. He's going to try to trade it, but he's going to get knocked back into the tower with the Emperor's Divide. Easily picked off between the Dawning Shadow and the tower damage and Stormbringer for the extra damage and slow. Now, they do lose a tower in mid lane in return for it, but just keeping this Darius down, like he's got 7 kills, but he's also died 6 times.
Yeah, and he's had some really great moments of aggression, but then he's also had a few moments of over-aggression.
Yeah, this is always the tough part of being a split pusher is like when you're yourself really strong, but your team is behind, because you kind of can't afford to leave your team, but you also want to leave your team because that's how you can sometimes have the most impact. Like if he kills Azir in a 1v1 or gets towers, that could really help his team out. But he also kind of can't afford to leave because his team doesn't win the 4v4 or even like the 3v4. And it is going to be a Leandries. Gelati does pick up the Haunting guys.
I think that's intelligent, but I mean, even if he thinks he can get a 1v1, is it really a 1v1 if Senna has her ultimate? I mean, it's just
the global
struggle
pressure.
to find that. Yeah.
And it's 582 damage, 229 shield. So even if he doesn't hit it for the damage, like it's pretty, it's a pretty decent shield, especially on top of Azir's own built-in shield.
Yeah. And I think they're probably just gonna be playing for the dragon coming up in 40 seconds. There's no real reason not to. Apes Together Strong is gonna need to find something big here. They need to be able to steal this dragon away.
They need Darius to get on a flank, because I think with Zac and Braum and Caitlyn, they can kind of traditionally front to back it, and if Darius comes around a corner...
Yep. That'll be extra hard, not having his flash, not having his ghost, but, with the Zillion can speed him up, maybe we can see him try to get onto that backline, but that'll be the task for them this fight.
Muggin has already used his elixir. Yeah, no, okay, he bought one earlier, I think.
Both teams kind of just posturing around, waiting to see who will make the first move.
All right, they're going to get a ward in the bush. They know that Zac's there. It's going to be cleared out. They're covering up the angles with Kate traps, so there won't be a flank, but like they can see all of Owlbear Express. They know that they're all standing there. And again, there's not... all their engages on the Zac. They're kind of waiting for the Zac to go in. Yep. Senna doesn't have her Edge of Night. It is down, so I think now is when Zac has to be looking to engage.
Yep, Wookiee's about to go Mega, though.
Yeah, so maybe they want to try to wait it out, but Mega lasts a reasonable amount of time. Wookiee's looking to fight here. He's going to step on a trap. Flash stun, Sky Splitter. Oh, but Gnar is going to be interrupted. He's going to be pulled forward. But a huge 4-man Gnar ult. So much damage coming out. Zac's in the back line. He's doing Let's Bounce. But there's the dunk. Gnar's going to be locked up. Double kill. The pull is going to land, but not land. But Darius is going to fall. Now you just have 2 tanks in the back line. And the shred from Azir is massive. Randomonium's got no passive. He's got to try to run. They're going to look for the flash hook. They're going to land it. And there's the ace. Mean Muggin steals the kill once again. But this should be an easy Ocean Soul.
Yep. You know, it could be potentially even move over to the Baron when you have the Azir. You know, you can shred that so fast even without the jungler. But that Gnar ultimate was massive. It looked like for a moment that maybe the Darius was going to turn it around, but once again, the Azir is just unable to be touched.
I feel like Gelati, and I'm going to make a Shrek reference here. Gelati's kind of playing this a bit like Lord Farquaad because he waits until Darius has like started the reset chain to ult. But I think that's the correct play because like your tank's job probably is to die a little bit, and he doesn't want to burn the ult too early. He wants to make sure that Darius is on him and then disengage him. So his attitude towards Zac and Braum is some of you may die, but that is a sacrifice I am willing to make. Towards Nautilus and Owlbear. But he's like, yeah, you know, I'm the Emperor and you're the beefy boys who are my royal guard.
Yeah, I think, you know, when you're 9-1-4 on Azir, I think that's a call you get to make. You know,
Yeah.
everybody else just has to be happy with it. But
You get to say, I need you to die for my sins.
and that's not to discredit anyone else. This is a real team effort right now on Owlbear. The Senna was pumping damage. That Gnar ultimate was huge, like we said. The Volleybear's flash engage onto the Caitlyn just kind of took her out of the fight from the start. And the Nautilus engage and peel has been really nice as well.
Yeah, and like, you know, you have a Gnar. He's got the cleaver, but he's not going like Bork, like a split pushy build. He's transitioning in tank. Like, you have a triple frontline whose job is to frontline. And one of the risks of being a frontline against a Darius is sometimes you die to Darius.
Yep.
So with Ocean Soul in hand, this is going to be an easy two-man Baron. Gelati has so much damage that he's just going to continually keep dropping the soldiers. And with, you know, presence in mid and presence in top, Apes the other strong might not even realize they're doing Baron, but that's an easy two-man. They barely even take any damage because of the Ocean Soul.
Yeah, a viewer in the chat. Yeah, a viewer in the chat asked how many souls Senna has. She's currently at 60.
Yes, so she's getting 45 attack damage, 75 range, and 45% bonus crit chance. So she is at 70% crit overall, and will have 75, I think, once you finish Zeal item. I think Zeal gives you 30 when it's complete, right?
Yes, and once the rapid fire comes... Oh, we got to fight though.
Zillion flank. He's going to go for the double bomb stun. The flash in for Darius. There's so much damage on Gelati. He is down. He's going to be taken out by a crit. But the front line is so low. ABCDE is going to fall. Randomonium has no health. Darius is still in the back line. He's got the Ghost. That's a pretty big heal he's going to get. Soul Reaver is very low, but Blaney's going to fall to a Wookiee Warrior. Slavic Moon's trying to run, but he's already slowed and falling. They do lose the Azir, but they lose two of their front lines. Darius was doing so much damage in the back line, but eventually, like, he just couldn't heal enough. And the anti-heal from Senna was huge there, because, like, that was at least a two-man decimate. If he hits that without anti-heal, and he has Spirit Visage, he probably heals, I don't know, 800, 900 health, at least.
Yeah, it's so hard for the Darius when they have the Ocean Soul as well, just to like actually get out enough damage. But you know, they shut down the Azir, and Caitlyn got 1,000 gold, which is huge. But also the Zillion flank, while it allowed them to kill the Azir, the Zillion was forced to ult himself, which then made it not able to be used on the Darius.
Yeah, that's one of the awkward things with Zillion. Like, the counter to Zillion mid and team fights is you want to go on him because you want to force him to ult himself. Because Zillion never wants to ult himself, he always wants to ult a carry, like another carry.
Yeah.
Gnar's going to pick up the Randuin, which I think is an excellent pick. Caitlyn has 75% crit, but no pen yet. So Randuin is going to do a massive amount to neutralize her damage. And he's going for Death's Dance, is my assumption here, not the Locket, which I think makes sense. He doesn't need a lot of MR. He's not really worried about the 0-11 Zillion's damage. And because he has so much AoE damage, Gnar does use Death's Dance pretty well.
Yep. And Senna's completed the rapid fire, which is giving her 25% crit chance. But the auto attack range is just absolutely massive now. You really have to wonder how anyone's going to touch her or the Azir.
Yeah, and especially with the Swifties to help her kite as well. So they still have Baron on Mean Muggin, Omagu, and Wookiee Warrior. So I think the 4-1 is the right play. They're going to keep Wookiee in mid. He's pretty safe, so he's just going to push that wave in. And now they're going to go for the bot tier 2 tower. They do have Elder Drag coming up in a little over a minute. And so they don't want to stray too far from bot. They want to be ready there to fight around it.
Yep. But yeah, they're just gonna siege. They brought all 5 over. You know, I mean, Wookiee's
Baron's
gonna
up
have
has
Mega
fallen
soon.
off.
Yep. They can threaten to dive though once he hits Mega Gnar.
Elastic Slingshot charging, but he's just going to use it to clear the wave. Bomb will do some decent damage there. Yeah, a couple hundred to Gelati. Wookiee Warriors going Mega. This should be where they look for the fight here.
Yep.
45 seconds to Ocean Drag. Do they want to take this fight? It looks like they don't. They just want to back off. I think that's actually the correct call, particularly for Rookie. You want to let him go mini and let the exhausted buff time out so that he's able to start building rage and is ready to go mega again for the Elder Drag fight. You don't want Gnar to have just come out of mega form before a crucial objective fight.
Yeah, I will say if I'm Owlbear though, I don't know if I want to risk it on a Elder fight. You know, I think even if Apes together gets the Elder, it's not like they're just gonna win because they have so much ground to make up. But I don't think there's any way they could really win a team fight right now. So I don't know if you want to give them that opportunity.
Yeah, and if they do get Elder, that would counter out a lot of the healing from the Ocean Soul. So you only want to go for it if you're really certain. They are going to back up. I think. Are they looking for a pick here, maybe?
Yeah, they're probably gonna try to catch them walking towards the Elder.
Zach's charging the slingshot. He's going to be a little bit short. They're going to land the last embrace, and they're just going to blast cone the wall. So there's no more wards in the pit. There's no vision on the side of Apes Together Strong. Yep. The bombs are providing some vision.
Yep, both junglers level 14 with Smite.
Dragon's down to 8. Wookiee Warrior's taking a good amount of damage. He's going to be stunned up. He's about to go Mega. They're going to force him to jump out.
They have supers in the base, though.
He's going to blast Cone over. He flash stuns too. Caitlyn is almost dead, forced to get the Chrono Shift heal flash out. Wookiee's very low, but he's actually not taking very much damage. He's going to get the last auto for the kill. Darius is in the backline, but the dunk does not get the kill. Randomonium is going to come out of the passive and be immediately CC locked up. And the, I don't know if that was an accidental TP or just a, well, this one's over TP from Cyanide.
I think he just tipped his hat to him and said, "We'll see you next game."
Part 1, accepting your death.
Yeah.
So that should be a quick Ocean Drag pickup. They're going to start shoving this in. There will be respawns, particularly from Slavikoon and A, B, C, D, E. So I don't know if this is immediately game, but with the Elder Drag, they can probably just look to dive.
Yeah, I think they should be able to end it here with the Elder. I don't see really any way to defend against 5 Elder strong.
I'm always an optimist for defense. I always think people are going to be up in time to defense, but they never are.
Yep, Owlbear will take game 1.
Owlbear Express takes game 1.
GG's to both teams.
I think the Darius had a really strong performance, but I think one.
Yeah, I thought the Darius had a nice performance. You know, 9-9, had a lot of great moments, did the most damage on his team.
The thing that stuck out news, I'm just like, there's no backline access. You don't have like a diving bruiser. You don't have like even just like a long range burst mage. Like, what? Assuming they're not super far behind, assuming you're not like super fed, how are you going to kill the Azir? Or the Senna? And the answer is you barely did. They died 3 times collectively. Like, you just didn't have the tools you need to get, because the only person who get to them was Randomonium, and he didn't have the damage to kill them, particularly through the healing and shielding and Azir walls and, you know, Black Mist and this, that, and the other thing. So I feel like you either need to deny that like super safe backline, or like even putting Cyanide on like a burst mage, like something that just has like I press buttons and player goes boom.
Yeah, I think after, especially, you know, seeing Gelati's performance, he's probably get my MVP for this first game. I don't think you want to pick something that allows him to scale safely. I think I don't know Cyanide's pool, but I think if he has a champion he can grab to try to press the aggression early. You have a Darius who's confident, who's fighting early. Pick another mid laner that can do the same, get a strong jungler, and try to push the tempo early. I don't think you want to just let Gelati farm up because he showed how strong he can be in the team fights.
Yeah, and I mean, the Azir was the last pick, so obviously they use the counter pick there extremely well, but like It was a really good pick on something that has better shove, so it can push the Zillion in, but also doesn't need to win lane and can farm super well, and like wants to scale for team fights.
Yeah.
Like a Vagar, or I don't know, an Oriana maybe. But Oriana was obviously banned, but I'm trying to think of similar mages.
Yep, and it looks like for game 2, they are going to flip sides. So Owlbear will have blue side this time. So APTR Strong could look for a last pick mid if that's what they want to do. You know, I think you could just kind of go for an early Darius pick again. You know, he was proficient on it. He was confident on it. I think you could do that and look to really get a strong mid laner at the end of the draft.
Yeah, I don't. I normally Darius I would not consider to be like a first pick blind pick champion, but like it's clearly something that is a very strong comfort pick for Blaney. And even with Gnar, which should be a really strong counter, he had a very good performance. So I don't mind like the early pick Darius, at least in the first rotation.
Yeah.
I think just like shifting to something that can kill, that is able to better kill the backline.
Yeah. All right. Look like we take a quick break before we get into the draft for game 2.
Take a lap now, don't be mad now. Run it back, run it back. I got bodies lining up, think you're dreaming of greatness. Send you back home, let you wake up. Why would you dare me to do it again? Come and get your spoiler out the head. We're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, look at you coming, my name. You ought to know by now that we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, maybe you wonder what your future's gonna be, but I got it all locked up.
Caitlyn, not the greatest wave clear champion. However, Talia, if she's allowed to walk far enough forward, will be able to get W's off, but Cyanide has been very good with his charms so far. Double knockup, the electrocute procced on the Ari might. Oh, ultimate cancel. Oh no. They're simping for the Caitlyn like they should be. Everything is going according to plan, but there's just too much damage from the side of ATS. The Morgana ultimate's going to come out. A lot of people are getting on a sliver HP. Urgot is up. He lands the Urgot ultimate and gets the set from long range. Down. Morgana walking forward has the Zanyas. The Arnold's been only hitting one person, unfortunately, and also only knocking down one person. Morgana is going to die. The Caitlyn ultimate's going to get cancelled. Scrambles flashes forward, getting a two-man fear on the set on the Amumu. The old Mumu doesn't have ultimate right now. He's almost up, however. The set ultimate comes into the backline and gets a huge W into the backline. It's just the Lulu, it's just the Talia. They're gonna be able to kite it out, possibly. The Ruptured Earth is not enough, and it's a very, very close back and forth team. It looks like it's a 2-0. The Talia just not enough damage. The Caitlyn just not enough damage. The Ezreal 6-0. The Ari 9-1. The Morgana 2-1. The Set's 10-4. And that is ATS taking the series 2-2-0.
Turns out lightning can strike twice. I'm TTU Phoenix, back for game 2 of Apes Together Strong versus Owlbear Express, here with my co-caster Gruer.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how the teams pivot in the second draft, see if they felt that any of the picks from game 1 were the issue. You know, maybe they're going to swap out one of those bans for the Azir. Maybe they want to deny the Senna. It'll be interesting to see.
So the way we do it is that the higher seed, so in this case, Owlbear Express, has side choice for games 1, and if it goes to 3 games, game 3. And Apes Together Strong, as the lower seed, has side choice for game 2. So they have elected to switch side. Apes Together Strong will be red side this time. I'm curious to see what they want to do with red side.
They choose to ban the Darius. Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. But like they've picked their top and mid quite early, which are traditionally the positions you want to save counterpick for. So I wonder what they're going to say. Okay, so they're going to lock in the Ari for Cyanite to counter the Orianna. Obviously, they've already seen the mid lane, and then they're going to go with Ezreal.
Yeah, I like that a lot. You know, it's definitely more of an aggressive pick, the Ari. But you know, they banned Darius from their own top laner who just performed well. So that indicates that it's a high priority pick for both teams. The both would look to maybe first pick it. So it'd be interesting to see if we go to a game 3 where that falls.
I think Wookiee does play Darius. So it may be a case of we're going to take it when we can first pick it, but not any other time. But otherwise, aside from the switch to the Orianna, because it was banned in the first rotation last time, Owlbear Express are like, look, we won game 1. Let's do Senna Volibear again.
Yeah, why change it up? I mean, I like Ape Together Strong. You know, their change up is they've all new picks, which I think, sometimes when you get kind of smacked game one, it's good to kind of just go back to the drawing board and come up with something new.
No salty run back here. I like the Gnar ban. That suggests to me that they're going to save the last pick for Blaney in the top lane, which I think makes sense. Blaney had a really strong performance, and he was just like doing a ton of damage on the Darius, getting a lot of kills. So I think that trying to make sure that you set him up for, like, he won, probably, I'd say arguably one lane in a losing matchup. So if you can engineer a winning matchup for him, that's even better. The Mords ban, Darius, Fiora, Gnar. I'm trying to think what Wookiee would go to here. They're going to ban the Shen. I think he's going to...
Ornn is open. I don't know if, it's always a premier pick.
Yeah, Wookiee likes split pushers. I think he might go for the Camille here. I know that he likes and does play the Camille, and Shen is a counter to Camille, and that's not banned, so... Alright, so Apes the other strong, probably pick their support here.
Yeah, almost certainly they're going to grab that unless they have a top player they just feel confident. But yeah, the Leona's a good pick.
Yep, that's the Leona. They run back the Nautilus, because, again, it worked. So Owlbear Express are assembling almost the same draft. I think they're hovering it to try to think about what they want for top lane.
I don't really think there's a reason to change. The Nautilus is a champion that can succeed at locking down the Ezreal. You can't dodge the ultimate.
Yep. Nautilus ultimate also bypasses Wind Wall because it is a projectile, but it's underground. It may actually not be considered as a projectile, but it looks like one, and it just bypasses Wind Wall. I think it also bypasses Samira's Blade Whirl. Pretty sure it does.
I like the Leona pick with the Ezreal. Yep, there's the Ornn.
Okay, so they are going to go with the Ornn. The only issue I'm seeing here is that I would like Owlbear Express to switch to... I kind of want Soul Reaver to go with the Triforce Volley this time. Because before, like, Gnar was a big damage threat, but if you have Volibear, Nautilus, Ornn, that's like 3 big tanks. Crazy good frontline, but like, you're lacking physical damage, because Senna's not like the highest DPS AD carry, so I think they might need some more damage out of Volibear this game.
Yeah, and they round out with the Malphite.
Which is a pretty good pick into Ornn. Like, Ornn wins lane against Malphite, like he has a favorable matchup. Like, Malphite wants to stack armor, Ornn is obviously mostly magic damage. Ornn just has a strong laning phase in general. Malphite can struggle into other tanks because he doesn't have 70% damage. But I was actually talking in general chat that, like, one of the reasons Malphite's so strong now is a lot of top picks like Shen and Ornn beat Malphite, but not enough. Like, yeah, you'll get a CS lead, maybe a plate or two, but like, you won't stop Malphite from farming up enough to do what he wants, and that's all Malphite cares about. Like, he just needs like a tank item or two and some CDR.
Yeah, and what you're lacking in the mid lane compared to last game is Orianna has no dash. If Jarvan gets onto the Orianna, or Leona, or Malphite, the Orianna can't get away like the Azir could last game.
Yeah, and so Apes the Strong actually kind of went completely the other way, whereas before they didn't have a lot of like dive. Now they're all dive. Jarvan, Leona, Malphite all go in. Ezreal, Ahri can go in. Like, They want to just be up in the back line, getting right past the front line. They're like, Senna and Orianna don't get to play League today.
Yeah, and I think that's a good call when you have carries and Ezreal and Ahri who can peel for themselves, that your Leona isn't going to have to be on peel duty necessarily. She can follow up on the Jarvan, follow up on the Malphite.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Randomonium goes on the Jarvan. You usually see the full tank Jarvan, but sometimes you'll see like a Cleaver mixed in for a little bit of extra damage. I think Cleaver is probably the right call here, given how much frontline there is on the side of Owlbear Express. Like, the Shred from Dragon Strike plus extra Cleaver Shred could be really handy. And even if Jarvan doesn't stack it super fast, he can apply at least a couple of stacks to like everyone on the enemy team pretty easily, so...
Yeah. I think an interesting point as well, I like when you pair something like Leona with Ezreal. Ezreal, can obviously 1v2 a lane pretty significantly by himself, which will give Leona the opportunity to roam around with the Jarvan, with the Ahri, try and either get aggressive on the mid lane, get aggressive into the jungle, try to use some of that early aggression. And since you have Ezreal, there's no real negative.
See, you said I like pairing the Ezreal with the Leona, and I heard every support main I've ever met just like wail in pain, because most supports I know hate supporting Ezreal because they're like, it doesn't matter what you set up for him, it doesn't matter what you go in for, they won't go in. They'll just farm for that man immune.
Yeah. Talking
So-
more in like a 5 sense though.
True, yes.
What Ezreal unlocks often is the ability for your support. If you have a strong support player who is a big contributor to your team's playmaking, it allows that player to get out of lane and start making those kind of plays.
Yeah, because you can leave Ezreal alone in lane, and he doesn't need to be babysat the entire time. Like a Jinx, for example, would not be able to walk up here. But like Ezreal, okay-ish.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what he takes for summoners, whether he takes teleport or heal.
I'm also curious to see if Ahri will go for the Glacial Augment. You know, that's pretty common. I personally like playing that version of Ahri, but you know, sometimes if you're really confident in your own play and you feel like, you know, you want to be the carry, you can always still go for like an Electrocute with the Ludens.
Yeah, the Glacial's super reliable, and the vision it gives with the Spooky Ghost is really handy. So,
Yeah.
I particularly in a 5-5, I guess it's gonna be Glacial, but Sign might decide to roll the dice.
Yeah, between the games, we were watching some of the highlights from what looked to be, I guess, last week's match, and some of those highlight plays involved in Ahri. So,
Yeah.
interesting to see if he can replicate that success.
One thing I want to make sure I see from Owlbear Express is them all making sure they get Orin upgradable items. A significant part of Orin's power budget is in his upgrades. And if he can't give those upgrades to people, like that's essentially just gold and stats wasted. Orianna will be fine. Nautilus will probably get a locket, which is pretty easy. The main thing I'm looking at is Volibear. He's probably not going to go Abyssal, and he can't get a Sunfire because he loves Cinderhulk. So he'll probably need a Trinity Force or an Iceborne Gauntlet to be upgraded. And I'd like to see Senna go with the Yomu's Ghostblade.
Yeah.
Because the Yomu's Wraithblade is actually a super powerful upgrade. Not because of its AD, though it does give more, but because it gives more lethality. And it's one of, like, I think the only ways to get extra lethality outside of the core lethality items. Like, Sudden Impact and Wraithblade are, like, it.
Yeah, right. I think that's a good call, but it will deny Senna from being able to go for that early Edge of Night like last game, which when you're into things like Leona, Ahri, Malphite, that's a very useful buy. So it'll be interesting to see if they value getting that upgrade super early or if they value going for more of the survivability again.
I think she could go Edge of Night second. I think she would want to go Ghostblade third.
Okay.
Because, like, depending on if you Orianna's going to rush a Death Cap. Like, Orianna really likes to go Death Cap second. That can be the first upgrade, and you can wait a little bit to give Senna her upgrade. Alternatively, she could go, I think it's Grasp, and then you go Frozen Mallet Cleaver and get the Cleaver upgrade. And given that there's 2, probably 3 tanks on the side of Apes the other strong, that might not be awful. I think that is more of a support Senna build, though. I don't know.
It's definitely more of a support Senna build. The Senna game played by the AD carries typically is the lethality, but I mean, when you have Malphite stacking armor, you have Leona stacking armor, you have Ezreal probably going Iceborne Gauntlet, maybe stacking armor.
Yeah.
The lethality loses a lot of value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lethality, like any lethality champion is just never going to kill Malphite. Like, I always laugh as Malphite if I'm up against an assassin. I'm like, oh, you ignore 20 armor. That's nice. My W passive gives me more than that.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't leak this before playoffs, but if anybody ever locks in Zed and Echo is banned, you know, Malphite mid, full armor stack, always a good pick.
Mm-hmm. W max, even if you really want to get extra armor, you probably shouldn't. You should probably go E because you need the damage and the wave clear.
Yeah. No, I think, you know, any lethality user, as soon as they see a little bit of armor getting bought, it's just kind of like, oh, they just lose so much damage.
One of my favorites as a top laner is like if you lane against a Quinn, if you walk back to lane with a ninja tabby, Quinn will leave lane and never return.
Yeah.
Almost all Quins. Like they'll just leave lane. At best they'll come back to clear waves, but they'll just abandon lane because they're like, I can't kill you anymore.
Yep.
Alright, so let's do. So we do have the press the attack again on Volley, so I suspect it's probably gonna be a full tank Owlbear. Press the attack and also press the attack on Jarvan. So I'm guessing these are both going to be full tank.
Yep.
Press,
It is actually the ignite on the Ari though,
so and it is
or
electric.
the electrocute. I
It's
mean,
going
yep.
in.
Yep. He's looking to be kind of the carry threat. You know, he didn't take teleport. Doesn't necessarily need it on the Ari. Be interesting to see if he can capitalize on the electrocute because, as you mentioned, the glacial is such a reliable setup for someone like Leona to then easily hit her ultimate, or the Jarvan to be able to catch up to a carry that gets slowed. But the electrocute definitely offers more damage, offers solo kill potential that you otherwise wouldn't have.
So for anyone who's wondering, like who wants to learn more about jungle, so if you're wondering why there's press the attack on what are going to be full tanks, especially when you might think press the attack is like a carry rune, it's because press the attack doesn't actually care about your build. The bonus damage you get off the press the attack proc is based solely on your level, and the damage amp is just 8%. It might scale up with level, I'm not sure. But like none of the damage from press the attack actually requires you to build damage. And for a lot of these characters, like because Volibear's W, Vicious Frenzied Maul does apply on hit effects, because Jarvan has built-in bonus attack speed from his flag, they can stack press the attack very quickly and amplify their team's damage to that target. It's essentially a way to mark a target for more damage and not for actual bonus damage themselves.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. I think the rest of the keystones look pretty standard, you would say. Starting items look pretty standard to me as well. No crazy invades this game.
Wookiee does take a bit of damage.
Yep.
Let's see. Malphite starting with the Corrupting Pot. I like it. I don't like the Comet on Malphite. Comet Malphite, particularly with Qmax, is really good against range champs. Like if you want to make a Vayne hate League of Legends, Comet Qmax Malphite with full tank is awesome.
Yeah.
But the fact is that Ornn is just going to build a Negatron cloak, and he's going to stop caring about your poke.
Right.
Like against tanks, you're just not going to do enough damage, and I would rather take Grasp and then just farm it, because like Grasp gives you 5 max HP. It's like I think like 7 or 8 gold worth of health every time you proc Grasp, and it does increase the strength of your shield. So like in a tank versus tank matchup, I'd almost always take Grasp because it's just like, hey, free stats.
Jarvan's looking mid for the level 2 gank.
Random's going in. The Demacians, the EQ is going to be off the mark. They're going to get good damage on Gelati. Force out one of his potions. Did he take biscuits? He did, and he has already taken one.
Good patience by Gelati there to kind of wait to see if he needed to flash. Ari wasn't level 2, so there was no charm threat.
Yes,
panic.
Hannah is level 2 now. And Gelati is going to flash the charm there. I think the gank was very good, though, because it got Gelati low enough that there is definitely solo kill potential here now for Cyanide.
Yeah. I like that. You know, they knew where the Jarvan started, so maybe you could say Gelati was playing a little too far up, but I mean that's just the power of Jarvan.
Yeah, and it's so hard to be ready for a level 2 gank. Like a lot of junglers just can't do it. It's very easy to get into the groove of just like, all right, I'm safe until about a certain amount of time. But Jarvan is the character who really is unlocked as far as ganking at level 2. Yeah, Wookiee missed the cannon.
Yeah. I would say Jarvan's kind of fallen out of the meta a bit.
Oh, the regank's coming in. Random was looking in. There's no flash on Gelati. Cyanide's going to be very low. He's going to hit the charm. He's got no health. Oh, but the martial cadence auto is just enough to finish off Gelati. That was not actually first blood, though. There was a kill from Wookiee on Blaney. He didn't flash, so I don't know if it was under tower. But that's just going to be a first kill over to Owlbear Express. But an answering kill from Apes Together Strong is well played.
That's a bit of a feels bad for the mid lane of Apes together, but Cyanite lived with like sub 10 HP. It was a very nice charm, good punish of blow it, knowing that the flash was blown. This is kind of what I wanted to try to target Gelati. Don't let him just safely scale, but you do have to mention he has a pretty sizable CS lead at this point.
Yeah, he does. I mean, and Ari, I know you played mid lane a lot, is not a character known for excellent wave clear.
Yeah.
Even with the W changes. So I'm not surprised, but you need to try to do whatever you can to equalize that lane as much as you can.
Yeah.
And Gelati's using the shield really well to trade, to absorb a lot of the damage. But Jarvan's already here. The flag and drag is going to be off the mark. They're going to land the slow, holding on to the charm. It is going to hit. The Foxfire is going to hit, and the last auto with the press the attack damage. Soul Reaver is going to flash for the stun, but he is not in time to save his mid laner.
Yeah, Randomonium is giving Cyanite the mid lane treatment. You know, he has to be very happy as the Ari. Yep.
This is a quality League of Legends experience Gelati is having.
They said, Gelati, you carried last game. We're going to try to shut you down. But yeah, as far as your point about the farming, you know, Cyanite picked up a Doran's ring on his first back. You know, the passive there will help with CSing. It's always a little bit harder to CS if you start out with Corrupting Potion as opposed to the Doran's ring. But
I used to, back when old runes existed on Alawi, I would take all scaling AD runes. So it's like 35 AD at level 18, but it's 2 at level 1. So I got really good to CSing with only two bonus AD.
Oh, Owlbear is actually looking for an early junk or early dragon.
Now, Dragon does do % current HP damage, so its damage does get lower. He's going to need a shield from his mid laner, but they are going to claim the early Dragon. An early Water Drag is probably the best first solo drag.
Yeah.
Because the regen is just really nice in the lane phase. It doesn't mean as much later, but like it just keeps you so generally healthy.
Yeah, that feels really bad for the Malphite when he already is. You know, he took the Comet. That's even more nullified now. Ezreal's poke gets nullified out a little bit.
Blaney's also maxing W Thunderclap, which I'm kind of surprised by because that's typically last max on Malphite. Like whether you go Q or E depends on what your build is. But like my rule of thumb is I max E into melee matchups because it's more mana efficient for damage than Q is, and it's your wave clear spell.
Yeah.
And getting the bonus armor doesn't really matter against Ornn. Like Ornn does a lot of magic damage.
Yeah. Jarvan is going for the Cinder Hulk, like you kind of predicted.
So he is actually ahead of Soul Reaver on that. Soul Reaver does not have a Cinder yet because Randomonium has a kill and an assist.
Yep, and second dragon's going to be an Infernal, which means it'll either be a Mount... Oh, we have a gank
Gelati
coming
is
in.
going to ult, but he's out of mana. He is ignited. Oh, but Jarvan's going to be knocked out of the EQ. Cataclysm's going to come through. He's going to break... Wookie's going to break the Cataclysm ring. Soul Reaver's coming in. Excellent charm from Cyanite's going to try to slow him down. Randomonium is going to flag and drag out. Wookie's going to flash over the wall. I think Jarvan's out here. It's very close. And Wookie's now going to have to dash away. ABCDE flashes to try to get the Zenith Blade on him, but it doesn't quite land there.
Yeah, that was a nice roam down by Wookiee to try to help out his mid laner who's getting targeted so heavily. His ultimate actually like canceled the Jarvan flag and drag, but when you have the Cataclysm and Gelati still didn't have a flash, it's still just too easy to kill him.
Yeah, like Gelati, he knows he has Ornn roaming down and Ornn has ult, and he gets ult before Cyanite does, so he thinks he's got a good opportunity for a fight here. But the Jarvan, Jarvan's back, and so he just picks up the kill. The charm's gonna miss. Gelati's going in with the phaser speed. Cyanite is out of mana. He doesn't have access to his ultimate. I don't think Gelati's got the damage here, so Cyanite will be able to walk out. He's gonna have to recall on very low health.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that just shows like why they're so concerned about shutting Gelati down. He's 0-3 right now, but he still has the CS lead, and he's still bullying when he has opportunity to.
Jarvan's looking into the red jungle for an invade. The red buff is up, but no, he's just going to back up. Going to go for his blue, probably... Is he going to take it himself? Yeah, he's just going to take it himself. Yeah. He's got a full Cinder Hulk already.
Like I was saying before that fight, with the Infernal Dragon being second, that means we'll either get a Cloud or a Mountain Rift. And just looking ahead, Mountain Rift for both teams would be a very nice prize.
Yeah, both teams have have big tanky frontliners. Mountain Rift is probably my favorite because I almost always play like bruisers and tanks that love the extra durability.
Yep.
Oh, look at that damage on the Cyanide from the Orianna. Blaney's trading here, but that's an Ornn. You don't really want to fight this. He's almost got the Horn available. Waiting for a few seconds. All right, Wookiee's going to call it. It's coming in. It's off the mark. Blaney is able to juke that out.
But they did just pick up the Rift Herald, and he's moving up there with the ultimate if they want to dive the turret.
Yeah, Malphite will not help you against the turret dive. Stormbringer's going to come in over the top. They're going to get the stun. Oh, and the lightning strike. Blaney flashes out and then I think he was tried to flash out, realized, oh, I'm almost certainly dead, and tries to ult to trade back. But it's off the mark, and so they just get a kill. They don't drop the Rift Herald, but with Dragon coming up, Randomonium's now on top side, and they've taken the reset for Soul Reaver and Wookiee to get them. Is Wookiee going to go? Wookiee does. He's going to have TP by the time Dragon comes up, so he's heading back top lane.
Yeah, I think he might have panicked there a little bit. It's disappointing to not only die, but also lose the flash ulti, but he's still farming. He's still getting his items. You know, you cannot take Malphite out of the game as long as he has his ultimate available. It's still always going to be a threat.
It doesn't matter how tanky he is or how not tanky he is. If he can press R on a carry, he can still win a fight for you.
Yeah, and if they're trapped in the Cataclysm, there's not going to be much dodging it without Flash, so definitely not out of this game yet. He still has a lot of opportunity to be impactful.
Cyanide is about to walk into the wrong neighborhood. He's going to take a lot of damage, use the Spirit Rush and the Charm to try to get out. I think he doesn't have any charges left. Reaver's still going in.
He has the ball on. Oh, Shockwave will barely miss Ahri.
Yep, it hits the Jarvan, but he's pretty tanky. He's all right there. And, like, there's no items on this Orianna.
Yep.
She hurts the Ahri because the Ahri is so squishy, but, like, she doesn't have the damage to actually hurt a frontliner like Jarvan, who's got, 1,300 health.
It's like we're going to get a fight over Drag.
Cyanide's going to get rooted up. He's going to get Death Threat. He's going to get Flash stunned on. He's going to go down. Now they're turning on to Mean Muggin. Randomon is going to flash out. He's waiting on cooldowns, I think. Yep, 5 seconds off of the EQ combo. Dragon's going to be doing some damage. Jarvan does now have Cataclysm available, and Omagu is up in 5. He can send a ult from base, but otherwise he's not going to be able to participate in this fight. The Dragon's going to go down pretty quickly, and that's going to even it up at 1 dragon to 1 dragon.
Yeah, Nautilus got a little bit ahead of Senna there, and Leona was quick to engage onto the Senna that got left behind. The nice quick punish allowed them to keep fighting even after they lost the Ahri and secure the dragon.
Yeah, and Cyanide was, I think, torn between trying to back and sticking around to fight. Ends up getting picked off.
Yeah, we mentioned the benefits of a potential Mountain Rift, but it turns out it's going to be Cloud. You know, personally, as an Echo main, Cloud might be my favorite. Getting that ultimate cooldown so low, but, when you have an Ahri, when you have a Malphite, Ezreal, Leona, Jarvan, really, Orianna, like, there's so many champions that would really enjoy having such
like,
a
everyone
low
here has big
ult
ult that
cooldown.
really benefit.
So that would still, and both teams have a potential to get 3. So 30% ultimate CDR would be very, very large. Very, very big.
And notably, Leona ult is such a short cooldown. It's 82 seconds right now. Like, having Cloud Souls just makes it, like, functionally nothing.
As well as the movement speed you just gain from having the Cloud Soul makes it even easier for a Leona or a Jarvan to just run up to you.
So the mid lanes have swapped, at least for Apes the Strong has swapped to mid. Cyanide's now back to clear it out.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to note that even with all the attention, Gelati is just dead even in gold. Like, they're almost exactly even just from the farm lead he has grown.
He's got a lot of money, though. He probably needs to back for his lost chapter pretty soon because he is running low on mana. We have very few plates that have gone down as well. 1 plate on red bot tower, 1 each in red top, a number of plates down in mid.
Yep.
I believe that was
Jarvan.
Herald.
Yeah, the Jarvan just came over the wall behind the Orianna, blew her flash with his own ultimate. I'll be curious to see if Orianna goes for the Ludens for the maximum burst, or if he wants to go for like a tier build. I feel like he would have gotten the tier by now if that's what he wanted. But
yeah,
when he just keeps getting targeted so heavily, that shield could be pretty impactful.
Especially because he took teleport and not barrier, so he won't have that defensive option if he doesn't elect to go for the Seraph's Embrace, Archangel Staff. Yes.
Yeah, it's probably almost certainly going to be the Ludens since he hasn't prioritized the tier.
Yeah, like tier, you usually want it. The
Yeah.
sooner the better.
Ludens will certainly add a lot of damage if he can manage to land the Shockwave on to one of those dashing around carries. It'll do a lot of damage, but it's going to be interesting to see if he can actually land it onto them.
It also helps with wave clear, and considering that he's shoving the Ari in pretty well, maybe wanting to double down on that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So we've sort of settled back into standard lanes. The towers are most pretty healthy except for mid, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Owlbear Express, trying to focus on mid. But Volibear's bot, is he spot on a ward? No. Pathing back up towards mid, probably suspecting that Jarvan may be coming back.
Yep. And I feel like both teams are probably pretty happy with the pace of the game right now. You know, both ADCs are just stacking up their man immunes. It's a lot closer than maybe it was at this point in the last game. Both teams feel like they have pretty good scaling.
Yeah, the trades are just going pretty heavily in the favor of Wookiee Warrior in top lane at this point.
Yeah, I'll be curious to
ask.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see if as the second Rift Herald spawns, if one of the junglers wants to try to get that to start accelerating the game, or if they just want to kind of just handshake it out and just say we'll fight over dragons.
Yeah, so how long? Okay, so we're more than a minute out from the next dragon.
Yeah.
Jarvan's clearing out a ward in top side, but like, actually they could probably gank Wookiee effectively because he doesn't have any armor yet. All right, Jarvan's looking mid. I mean, it's a day that ends in Y, so Jarvan is looking to gank mid lane.
The Ahri's so low, though, that I think he had to call that one off. Even just a QW from the Orianna would have finished
Ornn
Cyanide
TP'd
off.
bot lane. They're going to pick up Ezreal. Oh, the nice depth charge into Dreadline combo. They're going to pick up A, B, C, D, E as well. And Wookiee Warrior, once again, has an excellent TP bot lane. Yep. Just recognizing when he has control over the lane and when he can use that to impact the bot lane. They pick up 2 kills there, including... I don't think there was a shutdown on Ezreal.
No.
But they're going to get a lot of damage on this tower and probably claim it. 3 big early men beating on the tower.
They did get the Senna, so Ezreal did pick up another kill, which is good for him, and they are trading the Rift Herald. But with first turret going down, you're happy about that, especially when they're probably going to immediately grab a dragon.
Yeah, dragons immediately just spawned. They know Jarvan is on the top side because they got the alert that he took the Rift Herald. Looks like they're going to Rift Herald top lane in trade, so Ornn's going to back to answer it and try to stop from getting 2 charges off. But this will be the second dragon going over to the side of Owlbear Express. I'm having to keep mentally switching which side each team is on. Because in game 1 I was like, alright, Apes the other stronger blue side. Now they're... Oh, excellent charm. That's so much damage onto Gelati. Gelati is going to fall. The Leona ult is going to come down onto the Senna, but there's a flash stun out of Soul Reaver. The Bear's going in. Bear's hungry. Only you can prevent forest fires, excuse me, or supports that step up too far. Oh, but the answering kill from Slavacoon. He's like, hey, oh, the Dredgeland's going to land, but there's going to be a charm on Mean Mug, and they didn't know the Ahri was rotating. And they just dove the Ornn in top lane.
Yeah, Malphite... Ornn tried to flash away, but Malphite clipped him with the edge of his ultimate to get a nice shutdown for himself. You know, help the Malphite get back into the game a little bit. He's only 500 gold down now after getting that kill. And if you're looking for the bright spots right now as Apes Together Strong, both of your carries are 3-1. Both of your carries have nice gold leads, especially the Ezreal with about a 1,300 gold lead.
And the issue you faced last game was that the enemy carries were both fed and untouchable, and they're not fed this game.
And they're also not as untouchable.
Yeah, because you have a much better diving loadout, diving team comp that can get to them. They're going to claim the bot tower, so both bot towers have fallen. With no towers in top lane, Ornn will have to be a little careful about stepping up to farm too far, because there's just so much... like engaged that if the enemy team does decide to rotate up to you, you're not tanky enough to survive that.
Yep. Yeah, it's looking like we're in for a good one. The thing I love about the Cloud Soul as well is it's not as much of an instant win as maybe say the Ocean Soul was last game.
Yeah, Ocean Soul Infernal Soul and Mountain in specific team comps can feel like, okay, game's just done. But Cloud Soul is usually one you can fight in. It depends on the enemy team comp.
Yeah.
So Malphite is going to be going for the Abyssal Mask second, which I think is good because, you've got an Ornn and an Orianna, and it's just a great item on Malphite. The one issue there is he's only got 10% CDR from Transcendence, and Abyssal doesn't give any CDR until it's completed. So his ult is still on a 95-second, relatively long cooldown.
Yep.
So there's definitely a window there for Owlbear Express to play around. Like, one of my most frustrating things when I'm Malphite, and the enemy team's like, Malphite, why didn't you go in there? I'm like, my ult has the 100-second cooldown, sorry.
No, definitely. And I think an interesting thing to note, as Wookiee Warrior is currently level 12, getting closer to that level 14, the only item he can upgrade out of his teammates right now, well, he has a couple, but the Locket or the Ludens, but typically you don't want to be upgrading Ludens on the Orianna. You want to wait for the death cap. And Senna's currently is building what it looks to be the Edge of Night, so you won't have an upgrade there. So it's interesting to see when the ornaments start getting pivoted to.
Yeah, I would have preferred to see a different upgradable item out of the Volley. I mean, if Reaver wants to stay with the full tank Volley, it makes sense. But in terms of gold value, Locket is one of the worst upgrades. It only gives about 600 gold worth of stats. The only one that I would say is worse is Redemption, because while it gives similar gold value and stats, most of the stats it gives, I would say, are not very useful for the classes that the champions that really build it. Mean Mug is going really deep here. He had the hook on the Ahri, but I don't think he wants that. Soul Reaver is now super deep. He's going to be stunned up. He's going to go in with the Stormbringer into the Cataclysm. Randomonium's now in the middle of them, but he's really tanky. They're going to catch Mean Muggin with the Zenith Blade. Flash Shield of Daybreak from ABCDE. They're chasing. Omagu and Gelati are having to run. Just Soul Reaver tanks a lot there, but the lead is on the side of Apes Together Strong, and their tanks are tankier.
Yeah, and you're seeing the benefit of that camp mid lane. I mean, Gelati hit a pretty nice shockwave onto the Ahri, but with him only on Ludens, not even having like Sork shoes yet, the damage just isn't there.
Yeah, he doesn't have the pen, and Cyanide, he does get chunked by the Nautilus, but he gets out and he's still able to answer damage back. Ezreal's going for the Blade of the Ruined King here, which I like. There's so many tanks. Oh! Never mind, there's the damage.
Yep. Very nice solo kill. It was almost turned back around by the nice charm at the end by Cyanide, but I mean, Gelati's hey,
From
right back at you.
Down.
Ezreal says you're not just gonna get away with killing my teammate, but I think that shows Gelati's proficiency on the champion and why it got banned in the first game. And why he's so comfortable just first picking it is he obviously knows the damage, feels confident on it.
Yeah, so Apes Together Strong are now going to take the second dragon. Soul Reaver's around here, but I don't think he's going to have a really good window in. Like, he'd have to blind jump in, and nope, it's going to go down. So both teams are on 2 dragons, no soul point.
Yep. I think this one's probably going to eventually come down to who can get the Baron.
Yeah. Particularly because, the push is not very good on the side of Apes Together Strong. They're going to need Baron to get past, the Orianna wave clear.
Right. Yeah. And, Ezreal's just massive right now. The Senna is still just working to stack her Miramana. Obviously going to be slower than an Ezreal, but
so
if you're Ezreal right now, you're feeling great.
She bought a Phage, so that is going to be Cleaver to get through the big tanky boys, which I think is probably the right call.
As well as being an upgradable item.
Yeah. Oh, Wookiee's going in. He's been charmed, but he should be able... Yep, he's going to call the horn. Cynide's good to dodge. He dodges the first one, gets bopped out of the second one. He's going to have to flash. And Jarvan's there to make sure there's no more follow-up, but... I mean, they burned the flash and an ult for just an ult, so that's a good trade for Owlbear Express.
Yeah, no, Wookiee right there was showing why people say the Ornn is so versatile. He's not just a tank.
Assassin, DPS, support, mage, juggernaut Ornn.
Yeah. Watching good Ornn play is just makes you wonder what all that champion has going for him. I'm curious, what do you think Ornn's building right now third with the Forbidden Idol in his inventory?
I would assume that's a redemption. But I don't know if Wookiee realizes that you can't. He's already upgraded 2 of his own items, so he can't upgrade 1 more. Admittedly, he like isn't really in danger of dying with his current tank stats, so he could afford to get a redemption. I want to see something. Okay, no, he didn't take Font of Life. I was wondering if he was going to go Ardent Censor if he took Font of Life, because Font of Life will proc Ardent Censor.
Yep.
But no, he took Demolish.
And Wookiee he ticked up to 14. Be interesting to see who he chooses to upgrade, if they're going to wait. You know, he has options, but like we mentioned, you don't really want to upgrade the Ludens if you can help it, but Gelati looks to be going towards potentially a Zanya's or a Banshee's Veil here, so you're even further out from that option. The
Yeah,
Black Cleaver's a ways out, so you
my
might just get
assumption.
stuck upgrading like the Locket.
My assumption is the Locket. Senna doesn't have her upgradable item yet, so that makes sense for the second one. And it's like immediately available. And from the looks of it, Soul Reaver is not going to build a different upgradable item. So they're just going to push down this tower here. They got a big enough wave and not enough wave clear because the Orianna wasn't in position.
Yeah.
So the two teams essentially trade their mid lane tier 1s, which opens up a lot of the map to both teams.
Yep.
Now, Apes and Strong are backing essentially in unison. They do have a good amount of gold in the pocket, I would assume. Yeah, about 1,000 for some key members. Ezreal does complete his Blade of the Ruined King. Jarvan
the Locket
has...
was just upgraded.
Yes, it was. It is now the Circlet of the Iron Solari, so it gets an additional 15 armor and 15 magic resist. So 300, like 560 gold-ish in terms of stats.
And I would say if you just look at the kill counter right now, or just the KDs of the carries on Apes Strong, you might think this game is like really getting out of reach. But if you actually look at the goal, it's not that far apart, and a lot of that is still coming from the 60 CS lead in the mid lane. The Orianna is actually ahead in gold of the Ahri.
Yeah, and Ari's going for the Leandries, which see, it's a good pick here, but I don't know if you want your Ahri wailing on tanks, but it may also be just sort of a recognition that she's going to have to be fighting the tanks, so...
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad choice by any means, but I don't know, when you're going for, like, when you picked the Electrocute, you picked the Ignite...
Wait, she bought the Mage Eyes, but no, she's gonna undo that and buy the Blasting Wand. I was like, we're gonna roll the dice on this?
Yeah, the 1-stack Mage Eyes, I don't know if that would be the... I mean, that's betting on yourself, certainly, and he's had some really good plays this game, so I can see it, but...
I think it's 4 stacks for Dark Seal and 7 stacks for Mage Eyes is where it becomes gold efficient. And everything above that is just a bonus.
Yeah.
So the top lane tier 1 default, so basically, with the exception of top lane tier 2 for blue side, the teams are mirrored in which towers they have lost.
Yeah.
In that they've lost all the tier 1s.
I will say I'd like to see the side of Apes Strong to push the lead a little bit harder. Like, not just wait on... Like, Dragons have been 15, so they're obviously about to fight, but not necessarily wait on that. You have so much guaranteed engage, and you're just letting the enemy team kind of farm up right now. Get those ornaments.
Yep, they're now positioning around the dragon. Control of the pit and the river does belong to Apes Together Strong. Mean Muggins going to take a bit of chunk of damage. Ornn is going to leave the flank and come to join the rest of the team. Black Mist is going to get them in. Charm's going to land onto the Owlbear. Ahri's separated out. They could try to go for an engage here. But I think they're concerned about a Malphite ult. The Charm's going to be off the mark.
But you're seeing the strength of the Senna. The Ahri poke from the side doesn't really mean anything when Senna can heal all 5 members.
They've cast Soul Reaver out here, potentially. He's going to Stormbringer in. Call of the Forge God is called. Malphite's going to ult. That's going to be a 2-man knock-up. That's a big Orianna ult. Randomoni is very low. He's going to have to flash out after using the Gargoyle Stoneplate. Reaver is very low. They've brought the Redemption down, but it's only going to heal Ornn himself. So it's so far a 1-for-0 in favor of Apes Together Strong. Jarvan's going to go back in with another flag and drag, but there's a good knockup from Ornn. The hook's going to land on the Ezreal, force him out with a flash. There's the Cataclysm. That's going to take out Mean Muggin. Wookiee Warrior's now on the retreat. He's going to be charmed up, and he's tanky, but just not enough. And that is a 4-for-1 in favor of Apes Together Strong, and the pings are already coming out on Baron.
I love how they're going straight to the Baron, recognizing that they can always just come back for the Cloud, or even if they weren't able to get it, it's not the end of the world, knowing that they need the Baron. So smart. That was such a late Jarvan ultimate, but he just kind of waited for the right moment. He waited until he knew that ulting would guarantee the kills onto the carries.
Yeah, and also, like, Jarvan, a really good use of the Gargoyle Stoneplate from Randomonium. He takes so much damage on that initial invade because he gets hit engaged because he gets hit by the Orianna ultimate, but he uses Gargoyle Stoneplate and flashes out, and then instead of falling back, he waits until he has his EQ up and is able to immediately re-engage and get another good CC off. Now it looks like Owlbear Express are going to pick up the dragon because they immediately went for it, knowing the enemy team was low enough they'd have to back off Baron. So this should be a third Cloud Dragon. Okay, not stolen, despite the Solar Flare. Yeah, Solar Flare and True Shot Barrage.
Yeah.
So it is sole point now for Owlbear Express.
Yeah, Gelati TP'd in to guarantee that, and that was smart of them to recognize that they could still get a very slight win in that situation for them, but so worth Rape Strong together to just go grab the Baron, and it's great they recognized that. And now it kind of comes down to if they can get a successful push. I mean, they have so much dive here that this could potentially at least break the base, get an inhib, and if Owlbear kind of decides to fight too greedily here, it could potentially even be double inhib or Nexus turrets even.
So the Obsidian Cleaver has come out for Senna, so that's the second Ornn upgrade, so an extra 150 health and 20 more attack damage. So she'll be a little beefier, and she's got the Edge of Night, so she'll be pretty hard to kill here without Ezreal on her, but that is an 8-1 Ezreal who's working on a Death's Dance, and there's no anti-heal yet on the side of Owlbear Express. Like, they probably, unless they get a really good CC chain and kill Ezreal in the CC chain, they're not going to really kill him.
Yeah, he does have no flash, so you have a window of opportunity to try to blow his E and then get onto him, but
if he's looking for an
Slavic
engage
plays
here,
right, yeah.
It's basically dueling poke versus Senna heal. Senna does have the mana to keep going on the heals, at least for a while.
And you're seeing the strength of the Orianna wave clear too. Even with the Baron, they're making it so hard to even just knock down one turret.
Yeah, I think you strategically give the turret here. Like, you're going to lose it, but by wasting time and dragging it out as much as you can waste time on the Baron. So, like, Baron buff, I can't tell in spectator mode how long it is, but I suspect it's probably about half gone at this point. They need to get top and clear that wave out, because that's a pretty fat wave building up there.
Yeah. I would like to see Apes Strong together not just go for... I would like to see them kind of just push the tempo here, go for something aggressive. I think they can risk it. Like, go for a Malphite ultimate, go for a Jarvan engage.
Oh, they're going to force the Stormbringer defensively. The Redemption is going to be brought down. That's going to heal up the Volibear and the Ornn some.
Yep.
But they also use the Dawning Shadow.
Yeah.
Now, Shockwave and Call of the Forge God both became available. So with Depth Charge, they do have a huge CC chain available to them.
Yep.
But Unstoppable Force is still open. True Shot Barrage has been used. Gelati still has his Banshees, but Senna has lost her Edge of Night. Soul Reaver's healed up. They're going to try to clear out these two Baron minions. Reaver, what are you doing? He was autopiloting a little bit there. He's going to be blasted, completely exploded. Only a one-man knock him onto the Jarvan. They're going to turn back onto Wookiee.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he forgot he didn't have flash, or if he forgot he didn't have ultimate right there, but walked way too far up.
I wonder if he just right-clicked to go back to lane and didn't pay attention to how far up he was going. The True Shot Barrage is going to come in again. They're calling the Forge God here.
Big Malphite ult on both carries.
Yeah, there's potential damage, but they're back onto the Senna. The Cataclysm is going to stop the Searing Charge, so we can't come to the aid of the Senna. ABCD is very low. The Leona has almost fallen. The Root is going to land, but they don't have the damage. Okay, there's going to be the Root. That is going to be one kill. The Charm's going to land onto the Nautilus, but he's extremely low. Going to be taken out by Slavagoon. Oh, now it's just Gelati and Wookiee Warrior to heal, and Omagu's back up now. Oh. They don't lose the inhibs, though. Crucially, they do lose towers, but they do not lose an inhib, so the base is still secure, mostly, for the side of Owlbear Express.
Yeah, and what you saw right there at the end was Gelati barely missed Shockwave on Ezreal, but he used it at the beginning. You're seeing the strength of the clouds. It's a 45-second cooldown right now onto the Orianna ultimate, only at level 15. And if they manage to get the soul, I mean, the Orianna ultimate could be used twice in a fight like that.
And also, things like the Volibear ultimate Stormbringer, the Senna ultimate Dawning Shadow that have naturally very long cooldowns get huge improvements off of Cloud. So, like, if you're a champion with a short cooldown ultimate, a Cloud Dragon gives you maybe, 5 to 10 seconds off your ultimate, but it's probably like 10 to 20 seconds per Cloud Dragon.
and there's still no healing cut on the side of Apes Together Strong. You'd hope Ezreal would go for probably a last item Mortal Reminder here, but they won't have it for this Dragon fight, and I think that really made the difference there. The Senna was able to just barely keep key members alive, and that's why they were able to maintain all their inhibitors.
Yep, so they're going to look for the... They're going to clear out this ward, but right now the vision control does favor Apes Together Strong. No, they're not going to be able to quite get that ward. Orange coming from base, he's building a locket as well. I think the redemption locket idea, he's sacrificing pure tankiness, but he essentially recognizes my team is at risk of getting bursted, and I need to save them.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to concede this one.
Drag.
Yeah, I think that's fine. You know, you got the last one, so you're not giving soul, and you recognize that you still need to just kind of farm. Gelati's working on his Death Crown now. He's been waiting on the upgrade. Once that completes, the Orion Shockwave becomes a massive threat.
Yeah, so the question is, does Orin have an upgrade available? He does. Is he going to use it? He's going to use it for the Nautilus. Okay, so Nautilus receives his upgrade as well, so all that's left is the Orianna.
Yeah.
So the vision control briefly belonged to Owlbear Express, but with the vision, the sweeping orb, Scryer's Bloom, I think, is the official name. They're now going to control. They do have They do have the Scuttle Crab, so they're going to know that that's there. Oh, big chunk onto Cyanite.
But yeah, with the double locket, or triple lockets actually now, triple lockets, redemption. There's so much protection for the Senna and for the Orianna.
I think there is diminishing returns off lockets, though. I know there is off redemption, but I thought, like, having multiple redemption on the target didn't, like, fully stack, but maybe they do. And notably, Oran's locket is 520 plus 10 per target champion level. Like, that's a really big shield.
Yeah, that's going to be a giant shield to get through.
Yeah, because it's... Oh, of course, because he has bonus heal and shield power from redemption as well. Also, he just has so much health. Redemption scales off of your health, so like someone like a Nautilus who actually has almost no bonus health, and is working on a support budget is a relatively small shield, but on like a solo lane tank, real big.
And the teams have traded positions. Owlbear has the inside track to the mid lane. I think intelligently kind of just pushing that up.
Yep, they're gonna shove it. There's some damage onto the Ornn, but again, like the Senna heals will keep him topped up, and Senna has more than enough mana. True Shot Barrage is gonna tag. Senna's gonna lose her Banshee's Veil.
Yeah.
The ult into the charm is not gonna hit. Randomonium is fishing for an engage here, but Cyanite's Spirit Rush is about to time out. Wookie's taking some damage, but the Flag and Drag is off the marks, and that's a signal for Stormbringer to go in. Cataclysm into the backline. Dawning Shadow's gonna try to keep Soul Reaver alive. The last Embrace is gonna lock up too. There's a big shockwave, but they're just so tanky. There's so much durability on the side of Apes Together Strong. Gelati's having to run out. Now Randomonium has to flash. Slavic Moon's going to take out Mean Muggin. Wookiee Warrior's going to be stunned up. He's going to not hit the Searing Charge. The Charm is going to land onto Omagu. Now Wookiee's just in the middle of them. He can't really do enough damage here. Gelati's having to run out. They're going to... Wookiee's just the sacrificial lamb at this point. He's going to try to escape, but he can't make it out. Like, they have good engage, but there's just not enough damage on the side of Owlbear Express.
No, Mean Muggin landed everything onto the Ezreal. I think the Ezreal got down to like a fourth of his HP, but the Ornn and the Nautilus is not enough to just finish him off when you had the carries on the other side of the fight getting just ran at by the Malphite and by the Jarvan.
Yeah, he has 95 bonus armor, 30 bonus magic resist. Like, he's pretty tanky. Yeah, plus all the healing. So this is going to be the second Baron going over to Apes Together Strong.
Yeah. I was a little worried there for them with Ezreal sitting on like 1,000 gold before that fight, not having bought in Executioners yet. But, you know, they felt confident and went for the fight and just outplayed him in the fight with their gold lead.
He's going to pick up the last Whisper, which I think is all right because there are a bunch of tanks. And, I mean, you were able to win the fight against the healing that time.
Yeah. I think the difference there was the fight was a little split, whereas in the base, it was truly front to back with the Senna just constantly queuing the front line, making them live for so much longer, where that was kind of a split fight, and you didn't have Senna helping sustain the front line.
Yeah, Senna does not want to be stuck just trying to 1v1 the Ezreal because she'll never win. Yeah. Oh no, Wookiee! He's going to dash out. He's okay.
Yeah.
So I think one of the big things is they're trying to get Gelati his death cap as fast as humanly possible. but I think if he sells his Corrupting and his Darksteel, he'll have it. Because he has enough now. He needs to go buy his Darksteel, his Death Cap immediately.
Yep.
You might even need to give up the inhib to get him his Death Cap, like, because that's what will make such a huge difference.
Yeah, with the Ornn upgrade, that could really like.
Oh, but they're
turn
starting
the
the
tide,
fight.
but-
That is a 3-man knockup. They're gonna force the disengage. So Reaver's gonna lose half his health.
Yeah, I think they're right not to just go too hard there because you're 100% right. That's just the difference between the game potentially is getting that upgraded Death Crown.
Yeah. Does Ornn have an upgrade? Ornn needs one more level. He's
Okay.
almost there. They need to give Ornn some experience as fast as possible.
They won't have time. They either have to just
No.
concede soul or fight it without it.
Yeah, at least he has the Death Cap, and the Death Cap is so big. So the
Gelati's
TP's coming out
TPing
from
in.
Gelati. I wonder if they could like sweep a ward and use that XP, but I don't think they have time. So the dragon has been pulled. Charms off the mark. That's a good Stormbringer, but they're now all onto Owlbear. The huge shockwave. Malphite's in the back lane, but he doesn't have enough damage to kill Gelati. The Cataclysm is massive, and Omagu is just deleted. Gelati's forced to flash out. Blaney's just trying to not die here. ABCDE is just continuing to go in. He is going to fall, but he's going to deliver so much CC. Wookiee's going to try to get the knock up here. He's going to try to do enough damage. He's going to trade on Blaney, but it's 2 for 5.
That should be the game. Should be able to just run it down. They recognize that.
Randemonium just obliterated Omagu with that ultimate.
Yeah, that's multiple fights. The Jarvan ult's just been so key at just locking down the carries. But I mean, that was a massive shockwave. I think the story of this game and last game is great team fighting from both sides, but just one team has an insurmountable gold lead.
Yeah, and I want to call out a great team-focused decision from Randemonium. He bought Abyssal Mask. Jarvan doesn't do magic damage, like at all. His flag does, but that's it. So Jarvan doesn't benefit from the Abyssal Mask aura, but Malphite and Ahri and Leona do. Like, he has fully embraced I am a support for the team. I am here to set up and to amp damage. And I don't care if this item doesn't personally benefit me, it will benefit my team. And so I'm going to buy it anyways.
So that's not actually the game. They're just going to get the Cloud Drag. I will say, don't give up all hope yet. Or just hit level 17. The Death Crown will come through. If he can land another big shockwave like that, you have to wonder if the Death Crown would push it over the edge.
Yeah, the Death Crown is 50 AP plus the passive augment, I think is like 70 extra instant AP.
Yeah.
Oriana's actually more.
Yeah, Oriana's sitting at 507 right now. Oh, that's with the upgrade. So yeah, that's a lot, but
does almost 800 damage. Yeah. Also, I'd like to point out that Cyanide did buy the Mage Eyes, and he is on 23 stacks.
That's a very hard-hitting Ahri as well. It's just, when you see the Ahri, you see the Ezreal.
And he's got a Void Staff.
You just have to wonder how they can kind of just get through that. Because
Yeah.
the thing about Ezreal at this point is he's does so much damage, but he's so unkillable as well. Like, you can't reach him with his build. He has so much sustain.
You basically have to get a perfect Ornn combo into an Orianna combo. Like, he can't be allowed to auto attack or arcane shift at any point.
Yeah.
If
And
he
even
ever-
with that, is that enough damage?
It probably is. Because, I mean, admittedly, he's only got 1800 health.
Yeah.
He takes 40% reduced magic damage, but the Sork shoes will reduce that somewhat. It probably needs some anti-heal, like, real fast, though.
Apes Together Strong's just kind of crossing everything off the checklist, methodically making sure they don't mess anything up. They know the end is in sight for them. They want to send it to a Game 3, give us an exciting climactic series, and they're kind of just tying up all the loose ends right now.
Yep, Cyanide's waiting over the wall. Malphite's now worked his way in. I don't think Gelati bought anything there. He just pushed out top lane as far as he could. Ooh, there's that Death Crown damage. Alright, they're going to call the Forge God. This is where they fight. That's a pretty good knockup. Oh, but Ornn misses his knockup. Flash onto the Ahri from Soul Reaver, but Malphite's just in the backline. Jarvan's just in the backline. Cyanide's going to take out Soul Reaver. They're going to get the Depth Charge on Malphite, but he's going to flash out. And Jarvan just doesn't care. He's been tanking tower for like 20 seconds. The Ornn's going to fall, even with the Locket Shield. This should be game here. Malphite's going to TP to the super minions.
Yep. There's
I
just
don't think that
no
was necessary,
damage.
but
Yeah. There's just no damage to follow up on because Volleybear's reaching the back line. He flash stunned, but there's just no way to have the Orion or the Senna follow it up. And
yeah.
great
Leona,
game by Apes Together Strong to bounce back.
Leona coming through with the no you at the very end. Uh,
But I mean, 16-1 on the Ezreal. Like, you gotta wonder, does that draw a ban now? Does that open up something else for their team? Well,
was
that'll
the
be interesting to
Ezreal
see.
banned previously?
No, the Ezreal was not banned game one. They just felt the Caitlyn was, I guess, higher priority for them.
Yeah.
But now you have to wonder: are they confident picking this? Is Owlbear confident picking the Senna if they know that the Ezreal's potentially open? Are they confident just enough to blind pick the Ezreal? Like,
I'm wondering that, but I'm like, can you continue to blind pick the Senna if it's going to leave open an unpunished Ezreal?
yeah,
Like, you might need to push the ADC pick a little later so that you can try to get something with a little bit more of a favorable matchup to try to punish the Ez.
yeah, but I mean, the Ezreal just 48,000 damage, way
Yeah.
ahead of the second most. I mean, that's just props to him. A great performance. I do want to give credit to the whole team, though. I mean, the tone of that game was set by just constant pressure mid lane, helping out Cyanide, allowing him to start carrying some of those early team fights, shutting down Gelati, who was the win condition in game one. This great Jarvan ultimates and team fights. Great job by the Leona and the Malphite as well. Like, it's a real team effort, and I'm happy to see they bounced back after kind of a rough game one. They figured out what they needed to change up. They got their aggressive mid, and they executed really well. And I'll be curious to hopefully they can carry that momentum into game three, and we'll have to see how does Owlbear bounce back now that because they only changed one champion, and now
Yeah.
you have to wonder. Do we need to change a lot, or was this just a draft? Was this just execution? We won with this in game one. Do we just run it back? I'm interested to see how they adapt.
Yep, so I think we're going to take a quick break in between matches as the teams get set up. I need to grab a drink if we're going to go to a game three. So
Heck yeah.
we'll be back in just a moment. Third time is not the charm, ladies and gentlemen, because you got to listen to me again. I'm TTU Phoenix here with my co-caster Gruer, and we are bringing you Game 3 of Owlbear Express versus Apes Together Strong for the Noxus Semifinals. Bans are fast and furious. We are already through bans.
Bans remain the exact same from the previous game, but they steal the Ezreal. That's big.
I like that. The Ezreal was really big for Apes Together Strong last game, and they're just like, we just take it. No, you don't get to play it. Owlbear Express were the higher seed, so they got to choose, and they did choose blue side. They were blue side last game as well, but I think that last game they first picked the Orianna, and it got punished pretty hard by the Jarvan jungle, and so they're like, we're gonna take the Ezreal, and ATS answers with the Ashe Leona.
I think the Ashe Leona is a good answer into the Ezreal lockdown. You can potentially kill him. The Leona looked good last game on the side of ABCD, so him getting that again is definitely good for them.
I'm not sure if Muggin plays it, but they could answer with a Tom Kench. Are they going to blind pick the Gnar?
Yeah, I think he says, I popped off in the first game with Gnar, you banned it the second, I'm just going to grab it right now so you can't ban it away from me. He feels confident that he can carry his team with that pick, and I mean, You know, I think
Also-
it's
Yeah, and the kind of picks that punish Gnar heavily are like specific champions. So if you don't think that ATS plays those top laners, he can be a pretty safe blind pick.
and the Owlbear 3 games in a row. So I mean, it looked good on Reaver all 3 games, so I'm not surprised to see him just keep going back to it.
Yeah, so ATS they're thinking about it. They're not sure yet.
Yeah, I'm curious if they're gonna just go for like a blind pick Ari, you know, but Mordecai.
Mord.
Thoughts on
I don't
that?
think I'd want to play Mord into Gnar. That seems bad. That seems unfun.
You know, maybe he just, you know, it might be like you said, he doesn't feel confident on maybe one of like what you would consider a counter. And you know, I
Yeah.
think Mordecai's a strong pick in general.
Yeah, but he's gonna get like poked down on. He's not necessarily gonna win the matchup in Mega either. But it may be better in this case where he's like, you know, I don't have anything that matches up well into Gnar. I'd rather play something I'm comfortable on.
Yeah,
And
you
they
could
did ban the
consider-
Mord before, so
Yeah, in game 1, those Gnar ultimates were pretty massive in team fights. You know, if he just gets Ornn ulted, or I mean, Mordekaiser ulted, excuse me, he can't Gnar 5 people into a wall.
yep, that's true. All right, so the Azir ban comes out because ATS are like, hey, the Azir was really strong last time. So, okay, so they're targeting the mid lane, and this time they are saving Gelati's pick
Yep.
for the last rotation.
Yeah,
they do
they-
answer with the Jarvan ban.
I think the Jarvan ban's smart. You know, Randomonium played so well on it last game. I think it's smart to take it away, especially if you're denying the Leona Jarvan again. But I'll be interested to see what Gelati goes to this time. You know, Cassiopeia got banned the first game and it's open. LeBlanc was banned the first game and it's open.
So ATS are just going hard on CC. Sejuani, Leona, Ashe, and Mord helping to stack the Sejuani's done like massive amounts of crowd control out of Apes together strong.
I'll be curious what he thinks is a good blind pick mid laner here.
Alright, so going back to the Braum. Probably not awful as support. He's good counter engage to like the Leona and the Sejuani. They're gonna need something with some pretty good damage here.
They definitely need some quality damage coming out of the mid lane. But it's so risky when you're blind.
Is this a Corki pick, maybe?
Potentially that would. Oh,
Okay, Syndra. That was my other thought was Syndra. Like you need something with hard magic damage.
Yeah. I don't
Syndra's-
love Syndra as a blind pick though. There's so many good counters in the meta if you can pilot them. Like the Echo's such a good Syndra counter.
But does Cyanite play the Echo?
That's a question. I don't even think Ari's a bad matchup into Syndra, and he just played well on the Ari. So
Oh, Ansem would disagree with you. Ansem has oh, it's gonna be the Ari.
well, I'm a much better mid laner than Ansem, so I'll take the. I'll call it on this one. I think if you're confident on the Ari pick, you can feel not too bad in this matchup at all.
Alright, so I think so the players are now getting up to stand to get ready, so we're gonna get ready for the in-game picks and bans.
Yeah,
I think both teams are probably pretty happy again with their drafts.
You got the Gnar you were confident on, the Owlbear, but you got the Ari back you're confident on, the Leona. And I'm curious to see how confident Owlbear is on the Ezreal, or if they just felt they had to take it to deny, or is he actually as confident on the pick?
True. Is this like a game 2 G2 Gen G thing where you're like, okay, we're just gonna pick all their champions, and then you realize, oh, we don't know how to play these champions? Or is this actually a comfort pick?
Be interesting to see, you know. With the Ari, with the Sejuani, it's just Syndra is gonna be great at like blowing up the Ashe, or the Ari if she can get on her or can stun her up, but Syndra's not gonna be that great at getting through a Sejuani or getting through a Mordekaiser, so it's really on the Ezreal to be at a point to where he's gonna be able to shred through the tankier members.
Yeah, Syndra is generally seen as a poor tank killer.
And I think Syndra's going to fall into the same issues the Orianna was last game. It's not going to be too hard to get onto her. Yes, she has the scatter the weak to create distance, but Leona could get onto her, an Ashe Arrow could get onto her. I'm curious to see if any cleanses come out in the bot lane. I could see Ezreal wanting cleanse this game. I don't think that would be a bad call. maybe even Syndra. You're into Charm. You're into Ashe Ultimate.
Yeah, so I think, but yeah, so Soul Reaver's probably gonna stick with the full tank Owlbear, which I think it works probably a little better here because you have the Gnar for additional damage. Gnar I'd actually like to see him go Wit's End. Like, it's pretty good, particularly on Mini Gnar, and given how much magic damage there is on the side of Apes Together Strong, like, it would do a lot for his survivability. Mord really hates Wit's End. He really hates that item.
Yeah.
Mord just hates anything that slaps him to death.
I will say, what do you think about the pairing of the Braum with the Ezreal? I mean, I know it's not a bad pairing in itself, but I feel like the Ashe Leona has potential to really kind of punish that early.
Yeah, the issue I always find with Braum, because I do play him occasionally, is just like, it's hard for him to be aggressive in lane. And there's also not like huge skill shots for him to intercept. Like, he can intercept the Ashe ult, but he just intercepts it by being in the way. Like, it's not like, like an Ezreal ult or a Caitlyn ult or something where he can like really like block a key ability using Unbreakable.
Yeah.
There's not really any of those in this game that he couldn't just like block himself. Maybe like the Ahri Orb of Deception, but
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the Sejuani R will still be meaningful if it hits. The Ashe R, obviously. I think you always have to look to see, when you pick Sejuani, who have you paired her with that can help stack that passive? And Leona is one of the best champions for stacking that passive with her Q. You can really stun people up. And
Leona's extremely good. Mord's pretty good. Even if he doesn't build the Nashor's Tooth, which probably wouldn't here. I'm not a fan of Nashor's Tooth on Mord, in full disclosure. I don't like it. But just having melees is just like so big on Sejuani. Like, I've played Sejuani with full range teams and it is not fun. Like, you just don't get to do anything.
Yeah, I could just, it'd be interesting to see where early aggression goes, because I think if either team can get off to kind of a big early lead, the other team could find it pretty difficult to start cutting through members.
Yeah. Like, if the tanks get online, Syndra and Ezreal are not going to have the damage to kill them. Like, Ezreal's good at kiting and keeping himself safe, but particularly, like, for the Braum, like, if he's behind, he's just not going to be tanky enough.
And if the Mordekaiser gets ahead, the Syndra's not going to be able, like, if you ult the Syndra and you're ahead as the Mordekaiser, Syndra's not going to be able to get through you.
Yeah. I would either ult the Syndra for damage to get her AP, or just like ult the volley and like come out and be super tanky.
Yeah.
Or ult the Braum because he can't kill you. I'll admit, as Mord, sometimes I definitely ult because I'm like, you look like the person least likely to kill me.
I have a lot of opportunity, and I think if you're looking like in a purely combat standpoint, that's pretty smart. But like kind of we mentioned earlier, I think he'll have very good opportunities to deny certain things in team fights. Deny the Gnar from being able to have a big moment. Deny the second Owlbear, Stormbringer's in, like, just grab them, and then your Ashe is just so much more, like, so feeling way better.
Yeah, and as always, Mordekaiser can ult volley to deny smite steals, because the Dragon and Baron don't go to the Death Realm. So as Mord, like, especially if you are reasonably strong, you often just want to ult the jungler when the Dragon gets close so that your jungler can smite it more easily.
Yeah, I will say something to point out is, even in last game's loss, I thought Soul Reaver was getting on to the back line pretty effectively as the Owlbear, and when it's an Ashe versus an Ezreal, it's a lot more threatening to have a Owlbear jumping on an Ashe than jumping on an Ezreal.
Yeah, and also with the Gnar and the Ezreal ult over the top, they have more threat against the backline as well. Like, it's not just a full tank Owlbear jumping on you. There will probably be enough follow-up damage that they can actually try to confirm those kills.
I imagine that Cyanide's going to go for the Electrocute again. I think he has even better potential kill threat onto the Syndra this game, but Syndra also has definitely better kill threat onto the Ahri. I think mid lane will be very volatile. I think both junglers will probably hang around. I'm sure Gelati's telling Soul Reaver, hey man, I'm going to need some help if I'm going to be getting camped that hard. I don't think there's going to be any level 2 shenanigans this time around with like a Sejuani, but I really think mid lane could potentially be where we see this game get blown open, because if the Syndra can get ahead then I think the Syndra can take over this game. But I do
If the
think the
Syndra
Ari's
gets ahead, your
favored.
squishies don't get to exist.
I do think the Ari's favored in this matchup, and I think it's gonna kind of come down to like the first game. Gelati was huge, was popping off on the Azir. The second game, they really shut him down. He was finding good ultimates, but it just wasn't enough. I think it's gonna come down to what carries get ahead on each team.
Yeah, I'm curious about what the ball. I think actually Leona definitely have windows to be more aggressive here. I think they could definitely look to push the aggression. I do like Cyanite, not Cyanite, Randomonium. No, Soul Reaver. Sorry, I've just listed off 3 players and it took me 3 times to get it right. Soul Reaver is used to the ult for dives. I think that they definitely have dive potential in a number of lanes.
Yeah.
And so using that there. So runes and masteries, again, look pretty standard. It is going to be a phase rush Syndra, but I think that's pretty common.
It definitely is. After she got the even before, but after she got the nerf on her early Q damage, you're not as threatening, and like especially when you're playing it just like the Vault, or playing something like the Leona or the Sejuani, the phase rush just makes Syndra so hard to get onto. And interesting note this time, Mean Muggin is piloting the Braum, and he chose to go for Guardian as opposed to the
Knight.
Hail of Blades we saw earlier from ABCD. Yeah, and we do see Cleanse on the Ezreal, which I think is an intelligent
against
move here.
the Leona, the Ashe, like there's so much CC there that like you kind of have to have it. He probably needs a QSS.
Yeah, I was about to say,
which is
depending on game state, he might need a QSS pretty early. But what the Cleanse does is allows him to hold off on that for a little while.
And the QSS is probably gonna be necessary anyways because of the Morgold. Cleanse will not get you out of Mordekaiser role.
That's a very good point. Very good point.
He did start Cole, so it looks like they're probably just expecting for this to be a farm lane. They're not really looking to fight.
Yeah.
In that case, I might have wanted to see. All right, Soul Reaver's flying in mid lane. He is showing that he is so dominant and such a Chad that he doesn't need to touch the ground.
Interestingly enough, Ezreal, with going for the Cole, went for cut down in his runes, which by having less HP than the Ashe will like boost his damage early a little bit.
That's true, but the question I see, so she is 650. Wow, she actually has almost like 20% more HP than him.
He's harder to get
so, like, that's probably scales up linearly. That's probably like 6% more damage or something.
Yeah, I think it's an intelligent move by him.
I also think it helps because with
Leona and Sejuani and more, there's going to be a bunch of beefy boys on top of you.
Yep.
I feel like I don't see cut down get taken enough, but part of that's just because like coup de grace is so universally useful.
No, certainly. My eyes right now are on the mid lane. There was such a massive CS lead built by Gelati in game 1. The RA just wasn't able to CS very effectively early on. You want to see if he can kind of bring that back around, because if all those kills had went in his favor, it would have not been as much of an even story there.
Yeah, Gelati's getting some good poke use in the queue. But he's just going to walk into both halves of the Orb of Deception.
Yeah, both mid laners went for the Corrupting Potion start, so we shouldn't see anything too crazy. They both have pretty solid sustain with that, especially Ahri with her passive as well.
And Syndra did take biscuits.
Yep. Once again, Wookiee kind of just getting the early shove onto Blaney.
I mean, as a Gnar with Grasp against Mord, like Mord doesn't really have the ability to fight you early, and if you walk up too much, you're just going to take a bunch of damage. So Blaney has to really concede the lane pressure here.
Yeah, you mentioned how you don't consider Mord to be like a great pick into the Gnar in a 1v1. Is there an opportunity for Mord to succeed though in the 1v1, or is there like a moment, like a power trough of the Gnar maybe? Where would you say Mord has an opportunity?
If you're a melee champion against Gnar, you usually want to fight him in mega form, because that's the point where essentially you can engage him on equal terms, and like you can use your whole kit. Like against mini Gnar, if you try to burn whatever gap closer or CC ability you have, at best he's going to hop after it. At worst, he's going to hop to dodge it and then trade back. But if he's in Mega, especially if he doesn't land the ult after level 6, you can trade back and get a lot of damage off, and either chunk him out or look for the kill. He's going to take a tower shot here.
Yeah, nice use of the E by Blaney to get him into the tower range.
Yeah, you can do some cool tricks with Death's Grasp, including using it to push people who are chasing you away.
Soul Reaver's hanging around top, but I think Blaney's too close to his turret for them to really go for anything.
Yeah, and he's full HP. They don't want to.
Sejuani's wrapping around on bot though.
They haven't. Omagu waits out, does not use the cleanse. He's going to use it there. Oh, but the flash Q and ignite, and the kill is going to go over to Randomonium.
That was a really nice job by ABCD, landing the initial E so that he had flash at the end, as well as a nice flash Q by Randomonium to follow up.
Yeah, and I do I think it was good patience from Omagu. Like, he recognized that if the Sejuani wasn't there, he didn't need to use the cleanse. He could just arcane shift after the CC duration ended and not take too much damage. But Sejuani was there, so first blood over to Apes together strong. Both mid laners are low on mana, but Gelati's taking a lot of poke.
Yep. Ahri doesn't really have kill threat though, with being so low on mana, but CS is a lot closer this time around, which bodes really, really well for the Ahri.
Notably, Wookiee just teleported back. Blaney has not used his teleport yet, so he still has that summoner spell open to him if he wants to back and TP, or if he wants to back and potentially look for Dragon, or look for a gank elsewhere.
Yep.
I'm curious to see what he goes first item.
Yeah, last time Soul Reaver managed to get a pretty early Dragon. I'll be curious to see if he tries to go for something like that again. I don't think he'll have the same opportunity with the lane states, but everyone's kind of moving up around to the river.
Yeah, they're all looking for Dragon here. The Earth Drag is obviously highly desirable for most of the teams. You have a lot of frontliners.
If your Ezreal has no flash, though, I don't know if you have any business being here.
Oh, the Charm's going to land on Soul Reaver. He's going to take a lot of damage. The Ignite should burn him down here. Yep,
yeah.
That is a kill for Cyanide. Blaney's going to go into... Oh, Wookiee is in mini form. He doesn't really have room to kite here. Oh, he flashes the last Obliterate.
But the W...
He's going to hop over him, and the flash auto. Wookiee did an extremely good job kiting that out, but not quite well enough. Apes Together Strong are also going to take this Dragon, so just across the map, broad wins for ATS.
Yeah, very, very good start for them. You know, that was a great pick by Cyanide onto Soul Reaver. You know, Soul Reaver did have flash, but just wasn't able to get away after the charm came through. Just barely take down to the Ignite.
Yeah, he's like, it's a level 4 Volibear. He's like, I'm a level 6 R. I'm not even sure he's level 6. He'd be like,
I think he was level 5.
Yeah, he's like, I landed my charm. I get both halves of the Q. I ignite. He's like, I have the damage to kill this guy.
Yeah, that's the strength of the electrocute choice. Like, Glacial Augment Ahri would never kill there.
This is probably a kill on Blaney here. He has overstepped. Yep, and he's gonna fall.
Yep. Nice job by Soul Reaver. Yep. Nice job by him to get back on the map after dying. Recognize a good play for his own team.
Yeah, and with no ult and no flash available, that's like really the optimal time to gank the Mord. The issue with a jungler with ganking Mord is that you can only really gank him when you know his ult is down, because otherwise he'll just ult whoever's weaker, which is usually the jungler, and that's not gonna be great for you, not unless you're like really fed and can 1v1 him. So Blaney goes for the early Ninja Tabby, which I like. He's just like, look, I'm gonna get harassed a lot. I just need the armor, I need the auto attack damage reduction, and then just an amp tome for a little bit of damage. I'm curious as to whether he'll go for Liandry's for raw damage, relays for sticking power, or even Protobelt. Yep. Realm of Death is still on cooldown, so this should be a pretty straightforward gank. He's in the alcove. We're going for the alcove play here.
His teammates are coming up, but they're a ways away.
Yeah, he's going to try to buy time. Wookiee's about to go Mega. He may need to get him into Mega fast. All right, he's got the extra health. There's going to be the stun, but oh, the charm does not connect. But Soul Reaver is now in a bad spot. He's going to have to flash out. Excellent job from Blaney to buy time there and just stall it out. I really don't know how that charm didn't hit. I thought I was going to hit Wookiee, but
It was close.
in the end, I think it's overall even, except they burned the flash off Soul Reaver.
Yeah, I
But-
think you have to look at Blaney this game. I think in both game 1 and 2, while still being a good contributor to the team, Wookiee was able to kind of have his way in moments. But as of right now, Blaney's saying, hey, I'll pick the Mordekaiser into the Gnar.
Yeah, Mord is pretty good into Yordles, just generally, if he can get on them in the Death Realm, because most of them are very squishy. Things like Teemo, Kennen, he's actually pretty good into, because they can't just fully kite him out because of how limited in space the Death Realm is. Wookiee was able to kite it still pretty effectively, but as long as he can catch Wookiee with the hop down, he absolutely has the ability to kill him in the Death Realm.
Yeah, but
It's just like getting to there without getting poked down can be hard.
There is actually a CS lead in the mid lane for Gelati on the Syndra, but also a pretty nice CS lead in the bot lane for the Ashe. So kind of just going back and forth there in each lane. The Syndra should have the early pressure and is utilizing that, but the Ahri at this point can, if a charm lands onto anyone at this point, really, they're in a lot of danger.
Yeah, Ezreal is not as far behind as you might think, though, because it does still have some extra stacks of coal to go, which will be a little extra gold. And then he'll, of course, get the big chunk of gold once he finishes it. Unleashed Power is going to come out in mid lane. I think it was just 4 orbs. So Cyanide takes a big chunk of damage, but he's not dead.
Yeah, I think the Q barely missed. That would have added maybe just enough damage to get him over the edge.
I think Gelati was maybe looking to try to force him out of lane so he could shove it in back.
Yeah.
But Cyanide has enough sustain that he's going to stick around, and his old Spirit Rush just became available. He might look for the kill
that's
here.
a kill.
Yo, that's absolutely a kill.
Oof. That Q did a lot, but yep, with the ultimate, Ahri was able to take her out.
Yeah, once the charm landed with the, to be honest, once the charm landed with the ignite, you probably only need to ult once and could have just run away. Blaney takes out Wookiee in the Death Realm. I think my guess is he probably had just gone back to mini form and didn't have his ult available.
Yeah, I think he got him in the Death Realm, but ultimately, when it came out, was just able to kind of run him down the rest of the lane without having flash.
So Volibear is going to be here to try to defend. Wookiee's going to TP in. So I think they're just going to get the one.
No, they don't even get to play. Oh, no, that was actually Gelati's TP. So Wookiee's just walking back
to lane on his little itty bitty feet. So we've got Dragon coming up in just about 15 seconds, actually. And Sej is still hanging around top of that to drop the Rift Herald.
It's a big unleashed power. Big scatter of the week. Not the unleashed power. That's not back off cooldown yet. But I mean, the Syndra still has opportunities to kill the Ahri if she can keep landing good stuns.
Yeah, and notably, she's not very, because of the CS lead. The overall gold is only about 300 in favor of the Ahri. So, like, the itemization is basically the same. There's a Dark Seal for Cyanide and an Amp Tome for Syndra, but like functionally they're about the same spot in their itemization. TP's coming out from Wookiee. He is Mega form, actually. He just went Mega, so they should be looking to fight now. I think they need to try to force the Dragon right now before he times out, because if he goes into mini form, and Apes Together Strong are just giving it up. They're like, look, it's Drag 2, it's one Cloud Drag, we can let it go, we don't care. Alright,
Yeah,
so
I think giving one drag's not too big of a deal, and it's going to be Ocean Rift, and man, if Mordekaiser manages to get the Ocean Dragon, or even if like the Owlbear manages to get the Ocean Dragon, the Ocean Soul, especially the Mordekaiser though, that's just, that's going to be very devastating.
any kind of frontliner or tank who just deals AoE damage loves Ocean Soul, because it's so easy to just be continually benefiting from Ocean Soul's regen. Blaney did pick up another plate. He is going for the Leandries, which is going to give him a lot of damage compared to a more utility-focused item like Relays or Proto Belt. The only issue he's going to face is he does have to then get onto someone. But against like the Volibear, who just has health, he's just going to shred Volibear in the Death Realm if he chooses to ult him.
Yeah.
I was not prepared the first time I used Darkstar Mordekaiser skin, because like he's got like a ghosty Sauron voice. Oh, there's a fight in the mid lane. They're gonna Stormbringer in. The Solar Flare is not gonna land on Gelati. Flash Zenith Blade does not connect from ABCDE, so Gelati should be out of here. Solar Reaver's trying to trade some damage back, but in 2v3, they really get nothing. There's a Death Realm in the top lane, and Blaine is trying to run Wookiee down, and he's gonna get the last bop from Obliterate, and that's another kill.
Yeah. The Mordekaiser's really just kind of showing his prowess on the champion. And I mean,
Yeah.
as you mentioned, in the counter matchup he chose to play into.
It's certainly counter early, but at this point, I'd say it's no longer a counter because Mord is not behind. So anytime Nard goes into Mega Form, he can just choose to fight it. Like the thing with Gnar versus Mord is that Mord needs to avoid falling behind before getting to his ult. But there's a fight in the bot lane. The Ignite's going to come out. Slavic Goon, despite the heal, will fall. Just the CC chain between the Glacial Fissure is too good. They're going to get the stun on Sejuani, but Randomonium is now here. The Zenith Blade in forces the cleanse. Omagu is going to flash out. He will fall to the Ignite. ABCDE is not down. He is on no health, but the stun's going to land on me Muggin. He's going to flash, but the Winter's Bite does not connect.
Barely
and
missed.
ABCDE barely walks out.
By the smallest of margins, ABCD gets out there.
Yeah, and so that's like... You get a kill on the Ezreal, but 2 kills traded back, and both went on to the Sejuani. I feel like you take those, I think.
Yeah, I think Braum...
Oh, there's the charm. The Ignite is going to fall with Spirit Rush. Spirit Rush is not available. Unleashed Power is pretty much leashed there, and Cyanide is going to take the kill while only losing half of his health.
Yeah, really well played by Cyanide. I mean, you're seeing why he just feels so confident on the Ahri pick, and with... You know, you see why he's going for like the Electrocute with the Ludens. I kind of think like really good Ahri players who have a lot of like experience on the champion sometimes like to lean towards that because it does feel frustrating sometimes with the Glacial build that you just don't have enough damage to just like kill a single target if you're playing well. But
yeah, like you can if you're into any kind of like moderately tanky target, you're just not going to do enough damage to kill them. Yeah. So they are going to be going for the the Rift Herald is stolen by Cyanide. He's going to ult to try to pick it up. Now Spear Rush to try to get out. Soul Reaver's out of mana though. He's taking a lot of damage, and the Charm is going to pick it up. Enchanted Crystal Arrow is going to go awry.
Cyanide is putting on a clinic right now. That feels so bad for Soul Reaver not having Smite. It looked like.
He smited earlier for health, I think. Yeah. Just to try to get it low. I think he was counting on the eye to actually get the kill, but that is tragedy striking for
They're attacking on a Gelati again. Should be an easy charm stun into a
There's
charm.
The force stack, there's the frostbite, the charm. Oh yeah. Cyanide played that perfectly. He waits, like Randomonium's probably calling, look. Oh, actually Randomonium ulted him, I think. Yeah. Randomonium's like, look, I got the stun. He ERs, he's like, hold the charm, and then just Cyanide's like, look, I'll take the free shot when I have it.
Yeah. And this is the first game of our 3-game series where one team's really just kind of getting up to such a big lead early. It's starting to feel a little dire for Owlbear Express.
All right, the Solar Flare is going to land, but the Zenith Blade in bot lane to follow up does not connect because Omagu successfully buffers the CC to Arcade Shift out, but Cyanide and Randomonium are just roaming around as a pair. Yeah. They're going bot lane now. They're like, look, we gonna dive this bot lane. Yeah. It's a day that ends in Y, so people are in the bot lane. There's the charm. Braum is gonna be blocking with the unblockable. They're trying to chase onto Omagu, but he's successfully disengaged, I think. ABCDE is gonna fall. There's the charm onto a volley. Mord's TP'd in. Slavakun is gonna fall, but they're gonna pick up the answering kill. Mord's gonna ult the Syndra, immediately bop her with the Obliterate. He's chasing down Omagu. Darkness Rise. Oh, the Q flash. Oh, the Boulder Toss goes awry. Cyanide's got to get out. He doesn't have any mana. He's going to hit the charm, but the damage amp on the successful Gnarl is going to land it. There is going to be a stun coming out. I think this should go to Blaney, but once Gnarl gets mini... No, he gets yanked back by Death's Grasp, and the Leandri's burn is not enough. And Mord has already used Flash.
4 for 4 in the bot lane at 17 minutes. You love to see it unless you're an ADC.
Yeah. Enchanted Crystal Arrow is not going to connect. And Gnar has red buff, so he's actually healing relatively rapidly. Yeah. So I think Blaney should just head to Dragon and try to start it.
Yeah. I have to give credit to Mean Muggin there. He played that so well. He had a nice ultimate to delay the Ashes follow-up. His Unbreakable blocked so much damage that allowed the Ezreal to stay alive for so long.
That's going to be a decent solar flare. It's going to tag onto 3, but none of them actually getting stunned.
Yep.
The Scatter of the Weak is going to push Randemonium back, so now control is actually on the side of Owlbear Express.
Yeah, Dar's ultimate is back up.
Yeah, and Realm of Death is not. They've got to try to find a way in here.
Oh, he's charmed. Big Gnarl.
Oh, big damage. Mort is almost down, but he's going to get the Obliterate. Slavacoon is going to claim the kill. Blaney is going to fall, but Soul Reaver will fall to the Ash. Mean Muggin's going to get stunned up. Is the Dragon going to take out ABCD? No, Leona lives, barely. Oh, True Shot Barrage is going to take out the Leona, but I think you're willing to lose your support for another Dragon. And that is second Dragon going over to the side of Apes Together Strong.
Yeah, I have to give credit to Owlbear too, though. I mean, they're making these fights way closer than they probably should be if you're just like looking at the state of the game right now.
Yeah, they're 3.5K down. Ari did fall, unfortunately, right after buying a Mage Eyes. So she did lose a good chunk of her stacks.
That's kind of the mid laner curse sometimes. You buy the Mage, you're having such a great game. The second you buy the Mage Eyes is when you start dying.
I watch a mid lane streamer, and he's like, Mage Eyes is cursed. The instant I buy it, I die.
No, that's personally seems to be my issue sometimes, but...
I mentioned earlier, like, Mord usually has like a Sauron-esque ghost voice, there's an echo effect to represent his metal armor. I was not prepared when I used Darkstar for them to just give him like a guy's voice. Like he just has like a normal person voice because of the process. I think it's like unprocessed. So I'm like, oh, I was not prepared for him to just sound like a dude, like a kind of older gentlemanly like guy. I was like, I wasn't ready for this.
Yeah.
He did go for the relay second. It's such a strong 2-item combo on Mord. I really think those are absolutely core on him. I prefer the relays first, but it's going to give him so much ability to stick targets. He's just going to use the Realm of Death. He's going to land the Death's Grasp. He's going to land the Obliterate. He's just going to run Wookiee down. Wookiee does have the Frozen Mount, so he's not going to go down in the Realm of Death, but it's really only a matter of time here. Randemonium's going to get the stun.
And Scatter of the Weak from Gelati is not in time.
There's just nothing Dar can do.
Now Gelati's in trouble.
Trouble. They're going to flash stun him. Glacial Prison guarantees that. Blaney brings down the hammer. And that is a pick on Gelati trying to save his top lane. Oh, but there's a shutdown in bot lane.
Oh.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just a double kill for Owlbear Express.
Yeah, that's really well played by Owlbear to get something back on the other side as their top side of the map's kind of crumbling right now.
Yeah, given that the heal was used, but Flash is close to off cooldown, my guess is they recognized that Slavacoon did not have Flash, and just like CC chained him and ignited him, and were able to finish him off. Soul Reaver's probably going to grab this mid tower here. Yep, he's going to grab that. Now he's going to have to run, because Ari's coming for him.
Ari's, I think, trying to maybe find the Ezreal, but he's going to start backing off.
Yeah. That was actually well played of Volibear to pick up the fruit there, because he didn't have enough mana for his ult, but he got enough mana from the fruit that if he would have needed his ult to escape, he could have.
Yeah, and if you're an Owlbear Express fan right now, your hope right now is this Ezreal. Almost has the mirror mana completed. We saw how strong an Ezreal can carry last game, and Omagu's finding some good kills, and he's finding good damage in the team fights.
Yeah, and notably, despite like the deficit, Gnar does have a small CS lead. He is down about 2,000 gold, but he is close to his cleaver. And after that, like his expensive damage. All right, there's gonna be a stun on ABCDE. They're gonna land the solar flare, but he's gonna have to try to find a way out of it. Stormbringer's gonna land a slow. He's gonna be stunned up by the enchanted crystal arrow. Gonna flash after Leona, which I don't know if that's really worth it. He's gonna be stunned up. Soul Reaver's gonna have to run. Braum is now in a bad spot. Mean Muggin's going to put up the Unbreakable. They're going to land the stun. Wookiee Warrior's coming in here. Double hop off of an ally. He's going to get good damage on Randemonium. He's close.
Mordecai's TPing behind.
He's going to get charmed. He's going to look for the ult here, but he can't get to anyone. He's going to flash onto the Ash, but he's just going to get exploded. And Gelati is, well, he's going to the Shadow Realm, Jimbo. And they're going to pick up Soul Reaver for a double kill for the Mordekaiser. Working on his Zanya is probably already... Okay, he doesn't have quite enough gold, but he's very close. They're looking for Omagu. He's got to run. Run, Forrest, run! Nope, not quite. Never mind.
That was a great teleport behind by Blaney on the Mordekaiser.
Yeah, Wookiee Warrior TP's in, and at first it looks like a good engage, but he gets charmed and can't get into a good position to get a good gnarl. but then Blaney TPs after, and Owlbear Express are so focused on the chase that they're on that they don't even notice, and Gelati just gets left hung out to dry. And like, is Gelati gonna build QSS? He might have to.
But, you know, like, building a QSS right now at this point of the game when he hasn't even finished his second item, it's just, even if you have the QSS, there's just not enough damage.
And it builds into nothing he wants, so, like, it's not useful. Yeah, Riot promised an AP QSS item in the preseason, but they also promised tank items would be good, so, you know, lies. Oh, there's going to be a huge pick onto Braum. He goes bonk.
You know, that should be the dragon. Soul might go for some heroics. Like, if you're looking for a win con, it's maybe if you can steal enough dragons to get the Ocean Soul.
Mean Muggin wanted to ward, but Mord was like, haha, Mace go burr. They're going to try to pull it out to deny the steal. And Red Team steals it. Now Soul Reaper's in a bad spot. He's going to try to fight, but he's not going to get his shield, and he's just going to be blown up. With Baron down, they're going to look to push mid here, I assume.
Yeah, with the Baron buff and having key members killed, they should probably at least be able to
Flash
get
Solar Flare from ABCDE is going to get a slow, but he's
he
not... Oh, he lands the Zenith Blade. The cleanse is early. They're going to try to get the stun off, but they can't get to the fourth stack. There's the Glacial Prison, into the Charm, into the Orb of Deception. Gnar is going to look for an ult here. That is going to be a two-man ult. Leona will fall, but Sejuani is going to be able to Arctic Assault her way out of that.
ABCD is just finding the engage onto the Ezreal with the help of his teammates, but the Leona pick's been big in both of these last two games.
Yeah, ABCDE is like clearly willing to keep going in even when it's going to get himself killed, but like if you lock down a priority target, that's worth it 100%. Cyanite's back up to 24 stacks, by the way, on the Magi's from 2. They're looking for the top tower with a Baron Wave pushing in and Ashe and Mord on it. This should be pretty easy. Yep, they're going to fall back. They're not going to get the inhib. So they haven't fully broken the base, so they do have an open inhib. I don't know how much longer they have Baron for. They're going to take the jungle camps, but it looks like they may be pulling back here.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's 2k gold on the Ahri, about 1,000 gold on top in jungle, so they may just be wanting to finish off some items. Yep, Ahri finishes off the Leandries.
Yeah, Magi's is almost fully stacked. That ended up being a pretty good buy after all.
See, she's going for the Zhonya's, but I feel like Cyanite he had enough gold for a Needless. I feel like he could have just gone for Death Cap.
Yeah,
like, he's 10-2.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. You know, I really think with the fully stacked Magi's, I feel like he kind of has enough damage at this point, and the only way for Owlbear to really get any way back into this game is to find critical shutdowns onto the carries.
True, and if he can like Zhonya's the Syndra ult or some other key burst of damage, that could essentially save him a lot of gold in the form of Magi stacks.
Yeah, certainly that's a good point as well.
So they've cleared out the mid lane for Apes Together Strong. They're looking to push into the top jungle. I wish I knew how to check how long Dragon Timer is, unfortunately.
You can select objective timers in the bottom left.
All right. There we go.
2 minutes and 20 seconds about.
Okay. So I think they're looking to try to get the inhib. It is opposite the dragon, so it's the most valuable inhib from their perspective. You'll sometimes see casters say like, oh, bot inhib's the most valuable. Basically, the most useful one is whichever one's opposite the objective you want to take next, because it means that someone has to stay on the opposite of the map. Wookiee's about to go melee, mega form. They could look for a fight here, but they're just clearing out the waves in mid, so I think he's not going to be able to find a fight. Yeah, he's about to go mini again.
Yeah, I think Apes Together has... Oh, Asher barely misses.
Oh, so the Enchanted Crystal is off the mark. Randemonium's walking up, but he does take a fair amount of damage. The Glacial Fissure's going to get a good chunk of damage. Mord's actually relatively low. He's going to go into the Death Realm on Wookiee Warrior. But Owlbear's already down. The Unleashed Power comes out, but it does not have enough damage. Blaney is going to get the kill after the Death Realm ends. Omaku's able to Arcade Shift out. But it's 4-0 in favor of Apes Together Strong, and they're looking to end this, and they're looking to punch their ticket to the finals.
Apes Together... Owlbear came out hard in Game 1 and just had a dominating win, but Apes Together Strong didn't get shaken. They bounced back super well in Game 2 and even harder in Game 3. GG's to them, great series, and they're looking to win it all next week.
Yeah. And that's the game. I feel like really the key here, the key decision they made was they put Cyanide on Ari. They put him on something. They put him on a damage with an electric guitar. They put him on a damage dealing mage with access to squishies, as opposed to the Zillion, where it's like on the Zillion he's not going to be able to get to the squishies to do damage. With the Ari, they're like, okay, we need you to go forth and kill people, and he did.
Yeah, and the thing I liked about this series was it seemed like for Apes Together Strong, you got to see each player in either all 3 games or 1 or 2 games kind of have like show why they're such a strong team. Blaney just had an insane performance on the Mordekaiser Game 3. Cyanide looked great on the Ari both games. I thought Randomonium played super well in both of their wins. Slavic Goon played well this game, but the Ezreal was even more massive. And then you had the Leona just really I think the Leona pick, kind of an underrated pick, but really helped make a difference between what they were doing in the first game to what they were doing in the second and third game.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. All right. Yep. So we have Cyanide and Randomonium for our post game interview.
Yeah, just run it
All
back.
right, there we go.
Hey, so yeah, after losing game 1 in kind of a dominating fashion by Owlbear, what did you guys recognize as the thing that you needed to change before game 2?
So in game 1, we definitely wanted to run Zillion, just because Bjergsen just retired today, and Charn has been wanting to play Zillion for a while. But we couldn't just make it work. We need to put Charn with Cyanide on something that has more damage, more agency, more mobility. So the Ari seemed like the good pick, and that kind of I think was one of the big difference makers. And then also we wanted to put me on something that could be a little bit more aggressive compared to the Zac.
Yeah, you definitely set up a tent in game 2 mid, but it certainly paid off. And I thought the Ezreal pick was really great as well. I mean, really, your whole team played really well. What would you guys say was the key player maybe in game 2 or game 3 even as well?
God, it's so
I think
hard.
I'll say this because I'm gonna say Rando. I think everyone played well on our team in terms of every single player, but Rando did a lot for our lanes, especially in game 2 and 3. He camped me very, 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 very well, very nicely, and I think it definitely paid off for the team. Slavic Goon put in a great performance game 2. The Jarvan it was such an impact on the map. I don't he didn't die once, so
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, come on now. It was pretty nuts, the jungle presence that we had in game 2 and even game 3. Sejuani was really able to get her CC off and do a lot of things for setting up kills, and it was nice to know that it was a switch up from game 1, because game 1 who were you, jungle? Were you
I was Zac, but
Zac.
it felt like one of the biggest issues in game 1 was our front line was just getting shredded so quickly. So that was kind of another thing that we were talking about, is hey, we have to find a way to beef up our front line and survive a little bit longer.
Yeah, so one thing I'm curious about is because looking at your guys' pick ban strategies, is you switched up what your not just what champions pick, but what you chose to prioritize across all 3 games. So game 1, you first picked the Darius. but then second game you put top lane very last, and then third game you pick Mort at the end of the first rotation after the Nar's already been shown. Whereas in game 1 you pick the Zillion for mid really early, but then you save and you first pick the Ahri game 2, but last pick it game 3. So my question is like, how were you guys deciding, what do we want to pick? Was it just reactive to, well, they picked their ADC, so we'll grab our ADC? Or were you deciding based on which side you were on, where your priority lay in terms of champions and roles?
Yeah, that gets on a lot into draft strategy, and I'll try to be short with the answer because I could probably talk about this topic for like an hour. But in general, like my philosophy is that if you can counterpick, you should counterpick, and then you should always have what blind picks in mind that you want to go for. So that's something that we always try to really focus on is like, hey, like we have at least one counter for every champion that we know that's in their champ pool, and then we have safe blind picks that we know that we can default to in a pinch, and then we just try to play off of the opposing team so that we can maximize our counter picks and also keep really safe blind picks.
Good answer.
Yeah,
Can't top that one. There you go.
Yeah, I think after winning game 3 and even game 2, but especially game 3 in such dominating fashion, I mean, I'm sure your opponents at the finals are definitely at least a little bit scared as you're kind of moving up towards them. How do you guys feel moving into the finals now next week?
It's gonna be fun. I've been looking forward to playing Imagine for quite a long time. I think this is a really limit testing match for us. In terms of they had two subs that made their team extremely better. Extremely better is not grammatically correct, but extremely
We get what you mean.
much better.
Yeah.
A much better. Gelati is like insane. Like by far probably like the best mid laner I've ever played in Seal. I think that sub on like Delta's a good player. Like don't get me wrong, Delta's amazing, but Gelati, I've never felt so scared in the lane. And it was really like refreshing for me in game 3 to like I've solo killed him like 70 times. So like that was really fun for me. It was like a big confidence boost for me, especially. And it gives me a lot of good practice against a much better player. And I know that their bot lane was also improved with the sub of Mean Muggin. So our bot lane definitely faced maybe a better version of what they previously had. And Blaney had experience against a good top because Barbadrian on Imagine is quite a formidable opponent, and so is Wookie. And so
I just have one more question for Sinai, because I noticed there was a period in game 2 where you backed with like 800 or 900 gold, and you upgraded your Dark Seal to a Mage Eyes, and then undid it to buy a Blasting Wand for Leandries. So what's the calculus for when you go for the book? How do you decide when to go into like full dominance mode with the Mage Eyes?
I wish there was a method to my madness. It really has everything to do with where my confidence is at in a game. If I usually buy Medjai's like decently early because I have a feeling that like I can just smurf real quick and I'll pick up some quick stacks. I did that in the last series. I bought a Medjai's on 0 stacks twice and I ended up with 25. So it all depends on how I'm feeling with the matchup and everything. In game 2, Gelati was actually like just purely out trading me even when he was 0-4, which was like really embarrassing, but it speaks to how good he is. So I really didn't feel too confident, and I didn't want to pick up the Medjai's just yet. So I wanted to build closer to my item because I knew that the lane wasn't free quite yet. So I still needed to get to my Landries as fast as I could, and I'd wait on the Medjai's until I had a little more gold and a little more confidence that I could do a lot in the game.
Yeah, I think you guys can definitely feel proud after taking down a very tough opponent, and should definitely feel like you have a lot of momentum moving into the finals next week. I think that was all we had questions-wise, but I just want to wish y'all congratulations on a great series played, and best of luck.
Yeah,
in the
congrats,
finals.
guys. Good luck in finals.
Thank you.
Hopefully,
Cheers,
I'll
guys.
be able to cast that one.
Would love it.
Yep.
All right.
All right, best of luck.
Thank you.
And I think with that, we will say good night and don't do anything I wouldn't do.
All right, cool.
Hey,
Oh,
great.
well, that was fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Great
Yeah, we should-
casting, great hosting.
I'm not sure I'll be able to cast any of the games tomorrow, and I think some of those slots are already taken, but I'll definitely try to cast the finals for this division next weekend, so I should be free then too. Oh, you're right. Yeah, it might not be live. All right. Well,